can't believe it. It's McGilded, but without the U.
Not with that attitude. Anyways, hello everybody, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I returned.
Even though you returned, you did make a show last week.
Well, yes, but I was on a crap mic.
True, but it was funny.
And then I played Sherlock for 5 seconds.
And Van Zeeks.
And Van
longer.
Zeeks for much longer, actually.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a real good idea. It's a real good thing that I did not voice Van Zeeks then, because listening back to the stream, my microphone cut me out a lot.
Yeah. But hey, it was good. We got the memes, so everything is fine. Okay. So anyways.
So
friends,
anyways.
Let us do
Friends.
that funny case because it's funny. Oh, that 20. Stop.
24th of October.
Stop.
No, you
20,
shush, everybody.
20,
Shush.
20.
Ahem. 24th
Four-
October, 12:40 p.m.
7,
The Old Bailey courtroom.
9.
Up, dude.
Who's the judge?
Um,
Am I the judge?
are you the judge?
Who
Well,
am I?
Judge, jury,
Who- okay.
executioner, even?
I forgot. It's been a week and I already forgot.
Drebber's probably gonna come back. So who's taking Drebber? Because UA's taking Van Zeeks.
I
I
might as well
just know.
take Trevor.
I just know I was assigned to a woman, and I'm waiting for her to show up.
Dan, you could be Drebber, husband of woman.
No,
what
no,
the
no,
hell
no,
even
no.
is a drebber? What's a drebber?
Drebber,
Enoch Drebber.
one who drebs.
Wait,
Okay, so
but wait, but
Enoch
does
Drebber.
does the Drep have the drip?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait, this dude? Hang on. Hold on a
looking up-
moment.
Now wait a minute. Yo, he dripped.
No, he looks like the perfect dude to have like that monotone, very low butler voice. That's just like, can I assist you with anything else,
Can I
sir?
assist you with anything, sire?
Very good, sir.
Very good.
Anyway, we digress. Who's the judge?
I'll be judge.
Alright, go ahead.
Unless
You
Dan
get
wants
the
to be
ribbon.
judge.
Bro, I'm potentially gonna be Drebber now. I don't care what anyone
Alright.
says.
No,
Okay,
you're-
alright. Let's assume we can Wudgy
Wait,
go up.
Ajit, how badly do you want the Dreb man?
I'm just gonna say there's something else that's might prevent you from being Drebber.
Prevent
just
me
say
from
that.
being Drebber?
Let's just continue before I say anything else.
And his name is John Cena.
Okay, so Mega, you can be the judge.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue?
The prosecution is returned and is ready, my lord.
Okay, yes, my lord. The defense, I guess, is ready, but also confused.
Are you confused? I had taken a few hours off, a brief vacation from you.
What?
In my place, I had my dead brother.
What?
Yeah, you
That's
heard him.
why your voice sounded weird? What?
Exactly. See, it all makes sense now.
As the court
No,
is
well,
aware
no,
of the
wait,
case-
stop!
I-
Stop!
And I see that it was a good move to take a brief vacation from you, as you have indicted the Lord Chief Justice's right-hand woman.
Listen, Van Zeeks. First you're telling me your dead brother Clint was across from me?
Ah,
Wait,
Yes.
but you were exactly like... Wait, but he's
I'm gonna
dead.
play Wordle.
But he's dead, right?
Let's just say don't ask too many questions.
But...
He was disguised as me.
So then that means the professor means nothing at all, because he didn't really kill your brother, he's fine.
No, he died.
No, he's dead. He's dead.
He's super dead.
What?
he died.
Wait, so he's dead, but he's
Uh-huh.
alive.
No.
Crane.
He
We
was
never
de-
said
he's
that.
dead.
Oh, That's not the word.
Wait, you were possessed by his brother?
No, I was off in my residence.
It's like a peanut gallery behind Vince. He's like, get a load of this defense attorney. She doesn't know how magic works.
Magic? You guys accuse me of dark magic, and here I am standing. What the heck are you all talking about?
Don't ask too many questions.
No, it wasn't rumor.
Just accept it happened.
All right. Yeah, Miss Naruhodo, we really gotta go with this trial. Fine. Sorry, my lord. You can continue.
Oh, okay. I can stop playing World now. Okay. As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectation.
That's my trials. Let's go.
As seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord.
You're welcome. I make everything interesting here in Great Britain. Let's go.
So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was currently involved in this matter. Lord Van Zieks.
My lord.
Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuspers?
Not at all. She is in the antechamber as we speak and ready to be summoned.
Very well. Bring in the witness.
Oh, that's why.
At once, my lord. Bailiff, show Madame Tuspers to the stand.
Things are about to become a lot more intense. If Trevor is responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Sith.
And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork.
Yes, and for some reason Susato can read my mind. I forgot about that fact. The model of the professor. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a teeniest link, admittedly.
Tenuous.
Tenuous. Okay, I guess Van Zieks and my lord can also read my mind, sure. Admittedly. But at present, it's all we have to go on.
What are you doing?
Don't
State
ask
your name
questions.
and occupation for the court, please.
If you want, I could take her for the French accent.
Go ahead.
Become French.
I'll do my best, sire.
Become French.
My name is Madame Esmeralda Tuspers. I am a waxwork artisan.
That's Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
Yep. He's killed.
And the proprietress of the Madame Tuspers Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon.
Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are two of them in the world. Great.
Oh my! What expression is she carving onto that face?
Yeah. A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this?
No.
Oi, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped.
A waxwork model? Kidnapped?
Wax-snapped, no less, my lord.
Wax-snapped?
Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I had just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim.
Yeah.
At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Asman.
Are you
The
okay, Van
Quace.
Zieks?
I regret having
Sherry.
come back.
But of course, I know him well. He is a part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all.
Yes, but perhaps their faces are very similar.
Are you suggesting that we should see now the demasked visage of the professor?
Well, yeah, actually. Why shouldn't you?
I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock.
This is absurd.
You said it, Van Zeeks. Let's go.
Pardon?
I don't know what face you've carved onto your fancy figure beneath the mask. But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed. The man's identity was never made public after all.
The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information.
Oh, quel dommage. It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspes principles.
What principles?
You have those?
The family Tuspes has always prided itself on sculpting its models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Et voila, our principles.
Principles.
There is a well-known legend about the Tuspels waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspels family is said to have made a waxwork of the queen who was executed.
Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now.
I believe the queen's face was carved in the oh my gosh. I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death. Actually at the guillotine site.
Guillotine.
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 Guillotine. You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors.
Horrors.
The Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects.
Soldiers. Oh, damn me. A somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose.
It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject, my lord. And it has been my family's secret for generations.
You mean to say that beneath that mask, by the way, I'm totally eating, so that's why, yeah.
Oui, the true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous. It's out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tuspes special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer emerging from his own grave, it is a sight to behold. You should come.
I think, madam, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre murder.
Macabre.
Macabre. Macabre. Sorry, Dan's got me all French now.
Untrue. Maybe true.
And your personal involvement in its creation.
Also, if that were if pronounced with a French accent, that would be macabre. Not macabre.
Macabre.
With pleasure.
Macabre.
The Professor
Professor's
Waxwork. Technically, it's my title, so I should read it.
I've been reading it all the time.
No.
Well, I'm stealing your job now. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shocked society in London.
Not based, cringe.
I'm gonna say it. I heard the shipping exhibit.
An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse, in accordance with Tuspel's family principles. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
The gravedigger? The man facing this?
Oui, I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for.
Wow.
Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do, oh?
Wait a minute.
So you truly saw it? The fate of that monster!
Uh-huh.
Deep breaths, Fanzix.
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret, Monsieur Van Zieks. But two spells would not be two spells if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madame. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago, my lord.
Rumors.
I have here a newspaper from the time. The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article.
Yarn.
It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitness who saw it.
A 10-year-old article has been entered into the court record.
Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words.
It makes me cough.
Makes me sick. The public enjoyed absurdity, Monsieur Van Zieks. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
Oh.
And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That is correct. The professor you see before you here.
Most puzzling. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination.
This waxwork links Trevor to Dr. Sid.
Yeah.
And there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light.
The face.
But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. Prove that Dr. Sid and Trevor were in on this crime together.
It's actually Dr. Sith.
It's her daughter.
Dr. Sith's daughter was the professor?
Hold it, yes.
Hold it, yes.
And that rumor would be
Yes.
that rumor would be
A 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget.
I for gore.
Right. I know just what you're talking about, I think.
Of course! It couldn't be anything else.
Yes, that story will never disappear.
The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my House of Horrors. The rumor was whispered all over the city, and it was like this. It was in Lowgate Cemetery behind the prison, in the dead of night after the execution of the killer. The interred professor slid back the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him. But an instant later, he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder. The bullet struck the emerging corpse, and he fell motionless once more. The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life.
He was
The
shot?
corpse climbed out of his own grave?
And then somebody shot him? Who? Who was it?
Me, I did.
Nobody knows, even today. But remember, it was just a rumor, perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they do so love their stories like this, no? That is why it was in every newspaper across the capital.
But was it just a story?
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly the scene that can be seen today at your museum, isn't it?
It must be real.
Oui, this special exhibit was modeled on that very illustration. For a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable.
Madame, might I say something?
No.
Please, go ahead, mademoiselle.
First of all, there's no such thing as just a ghost story in Ace Attorney, so I'm sure it actually happened. Second, when something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. Well, I wish I read that first before I said anything. I believe that often, rumors contain elements of the truth.
Ah, I see that the people from the East can be just as astute as the people of Europe.
Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful?
Oh no.
It is not possible for the dead to come back to life.
Sorry?
10 years ago, I was there in Lowgate Cemetery. After the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging, I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred. So I can assure you, the man was dead.
I see.
He could be playing dead. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty?
That's it.
Wait, who?
It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate.
Alexis.
Guilty. But what if the professor was a robot? Plot twist.
Plot twist, hold it!
Huh?
Is that true of every waxwork in your museum then?
No.
It is, assuming the subject is dead, of course. Live subjects have to cooperate in a similar way.
Wait, what?
I
Wait.
assume that you remember Monsieur Holmes?
Yeah, so, wait.
Van Zeek's on the side. Ugh, finally.
Wait. You're not actually going to kill him, right?
That will be determined at the end of this trial.
Oh. Please no.
I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know.
Anyways, what sort of letters?
When my time comes, please make a waxwork of me. Comme ça.
Comme ça.
Sorry, comme ça.
No.
Comme si, comme ça.
Si comme ça. Thank you, voice in the sky. My museum is famous, monsieur.
Is it?
To be made into a waxwork is an honor. For some criminals, a symbol of status even.
Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax.
Like hardened wax. And it is thanks to one killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London. I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course.
John
the
Cena.
Professor. And his name is John Cena.
Dun, dun, dun,
Whose
dun.
form? Whose form you claim to have captured by taking them an impression from the actual corpse?
There are no exceptions to the principles of the two spells, Monsieur Van Zieks.
Hold it! Surely that's illegal, isn't it? Hello?
You can't do that.
It
That's
would
illegal.
It would seem the proprietress of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed.
It had nothing to do with the money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history. It is the raison d'etre of the Two Spells Museum.
Raison d'etre.
I am not repeating myself. I said what I said. I'm not perfectly French.
But if the man was convicted in a closed court and sent for immediate execution, then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present know the killer's true identity.
Oh, I have to be right back.
Oh, okay.
I assure you, behind that face is hidden the true leader of the Professor.
What did you just say?
What do you mean?
You screwed that line up.
I did?
I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the Professor.
You said behind that face is the true something else of the professor.
What? I said
You did not
true
say
face.
face. You did not say mask. You said something else.
I didn't hear. What?
Face.
Bun, clip that. Tell us what she said.
Bun. Did I actually say true face? I'm pretty sure I did.
You said behind that face
Guys,
is
clip
hidden
that.
something else.
Clip that.
I'm a new streamer. Clip that. Anyways.
Do you realize what you're saying? The professor's identity is a national secret.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, go for it.
I understand, Monsieur Van Zieks. And now that's the truth about these special
Then
oaths.
And now that the truth about the special perhaps close.
What?
That's
you
what
cut
we
out
heard.
completely for the entire sentence.
Uh-oh. Hang on, let me reconnect my Discord real quick.
Yeah, no problem. That was good.
Truth about the special.
Perhaps close.
And now that the truth about the special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Alright, I
Of
fixed
course it will. As will your entire museum if you don't tread very carefully, madame.
That could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think. Don't you, Monsieur Van Zieks?
You don't have to say that every time.
I'm gonna say it every time now because you told me not to.
I gotta say.
Only if you say it to him as well.
Monsieur Naruhodo?
Thank you. I actually like that.
Monsieur Stupid Haircut, $30 haircut?
Actually, I actually hate the first one you did.
Hi,
I
I'm
actually
back.
hate
I was
it.
clipping.
That's your new neighbor now? Monsieur $30 haircut? What can I do for you?
I actually very like that. Thank you.
Monster's stupid eyes. Monster carrying around sword because he's compensating for something.
So 10 years ago, on the night of the professor's execution, you took a wax impression of his face from the corpse?
Oui, exactamente, Monsieur's stupid face.
Okay. So that bit was clipped. It sounded like you said, "I assure you, behind that face is hidden the true leader of the professor."
True leaser?
Listening back, I was like, what? What did she say?
Huh?
I'll watch it later and I'll be like, huh, what did I say?
Huh?
Hold it. You were there longer than you expected to be? I mean, okay, to be fair, because as Dan go, I had to quickly be like, okay, French, and then maybe I just
I
second
had
guess.
some difficulties in capturing these subjects' form correctly, Monsieur's stupid dress.
Torres.
As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems with the chin.
Dare I ask?
The man had been dead for a short while already, you see.
Wait, what?
His muscles were relaxing, and consequently, his chin would not align itself correctly.
Dear, what a horrible thought.
Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. However, that night, I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time.
What do you mean?
When I take the impression of the visage of a cadaver, I always wait until 3 hours after death. That is
Why-
correct, your French lot is 3 hours after death.
Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant?
It is because of rigor mortis.
Wriggly mortis?
Non, rigor mortis.
Regular Morris?
Sorry to spell.
Vigor
Let me handle
mortis.
this.
Arugula mortis.
Let me handle this. It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered. Rigor mortis.
Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one.
The mademoiselle says rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
I see. So that's why you wait.
Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work, non?
Ugh. It's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses.
I wonder about that information the courts just heard from adding two spells.
Actually, it is significant because it's a while then, before he was buried. The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see.
Of course. I do not mind at all. Monsieur stupid $30 haircut with stupid face whom I don't like.
Oh. Man.
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave.
Ha 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 ha.
Ah,
Van Zeeks, can we switch assistants?
no.
No.
Okay.
Hits him with a no.
No.
This is no time for jokes, Miss Susato. Seriously. Actually have some respect for the dead. I can't believe it.
Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Bien sûr.
Also, you in the defense, don't.
It
What-
took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis.
What do you mean, my lord? What did I do?
Not you, no, the other one. In defense.
Oh. Me?
Yeah, don't. Just don't.
Oh. Okay.
Don't.
He's like he's shaking his gavel at her. Don't.
What? What was? Wait. Slow
What'd you
down
pick?
for one.
What did you pick?
What happened? I wasn't looking.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
The armband, it was that. Hi, I'm Rigor Mortis.
Oh, Mr. Mortis, good to see you.
We found him. It's Rigor Mortis.
Mr. Mortis, first name Rigor.
Rick B.
R.
Morbius.
Mortis. Oh my god.
Midnight on June 11th. 17th.
17th.
11.
Objection!
You're wrong and I hate you.
Madame Tuspels. I have here an autopsy that was filed 10 years ago now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows.
Well, good for you.
And is that a problem, Monsieur Stupid Paper
I
Shuffling
believe
Man?
it is because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another.
What?
What?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
I'd love to if you'd let me explain.
No.
According to her testimony, Madame Tuspels was creating her wax impression just before dawn. And at that time, rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, Madame?
No.
You're on, yes. As I said, the stiffening of the jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis, 2 to 3 hours after death. But the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Sith's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June.
No!
If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would have already set in.
Yes, you are quite right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
It's bogus.
Objection! No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd.
In that case,
Sorry.
I don't think you're sorry.
I'm not.
man, I can't believe someone died and he's laughing.
You're laughing. He died and you're laughing.
Those people are dead and you're laughing. I am, and I'm tired of pretending I don't.
In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't
messed up
actually
the
take
line.
place at the stated time.
I messed up the line.
Impossible!
Impossible.
But impossible indeed. No.
Order! Household, this is beyond folly. Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Seath, but you also implicate members of staff at Berkeley Prison while the execution took place.
By heck! Extraordinary!
Don't
To my day! Objection! My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact.
What fact?
Pixar didn't happen.
The professor died that night without question!
Are we sure?
He did. Of course he did. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands. There was no...
Objection! Yes, the professor died that night. But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Didn't die it? Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting that did happen in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Sith, the professor,
Zelda
and
reference.
that one other person of interest.
was a silver.
I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting happened that night.
Council, present the evidence at once. Or else. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution. I'm being hyper-specific.
Well, that's an
Do
Ace
it or I
Attorney
will
game. You
kill
have
you.
to be extra specific. Take that! What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now?
Well, if this article is to be believed, yes. The professor, assumed dead following his execution, emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Objection! Don't be a fool! That's simply a rumor published by the gutter press!
Can you be
Quiet.
certain of that?
Prove it.
Are you serious?
Yes. I am
Yes.
absolutely serious.
Look at that face. Serious.
The point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word, yes, indeed.
I saw the young man who stole the cemetery by chance that night.
Objection! Of course there was a witness. The story didn't write itself. But obviously, the man made it all up.
And in any case, this was 10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding him. That specific man, that hyper-specific man, that may or may not be...
Says that you're just pulling the newspaper out and holding the magnifying glass. You're like, we'll never find him, you say.
No, I imagine Naruhodo just takes out that newspaper, calmly walks to the honor with the magnifying glass. Yeah, my lord, I guess we'll never find him.
I need to see.
I guess we will.
Drebber.
I guess we
Who-
will
who's
never ever
Drebber?
find him.
Who? I don't know who the Drebber. I've never heard of. Oh my god!
I'm glad you
He's
see
got
it now.
white hair.
Objection! First of all, Your Honor, it is very simple. You see there was a gun, and guns are deadly. But on the contrary, my lord, we all know this witness well.
What?
Yeah, we know him. We found him.
Fanzeeks? What?
You found him.
You...
No, never mind. He wasn't there.
Monsieur Van Zinks is taking a moment to process all this. Please continue.
walk to the bench, shows this too. Fanzeeks.
Wait,
Fanzeeks, you have to be quicker. Please.
Before we leave this newspaper screen, I have
Yeah.
to point out the Great Stink.
Oh yeah, that's the River Thames.
Ah!
The Great Stink.
The great stink. Is there a greater stink?
And Mad Sheep Rampage.
So
What
Fanzeeks,
about-
I'm just gonna point to one person, even though I know you have your sword out, but yeah, okay. I'm glad we have that sorted out. I'm just gonna back away.
Nope.
The Great Stink was an event in central London in July and August 1858, during which the hot weather exacerbated the smell of untreated human waste and industrial effluence that was present on the banks of the River Thames.
Huh.
You don't say.
I see. Are you suggesting that the Great Stink killed the professor?
Well, no, my honor, but that was an interesting fact.
Oh, well, are you suggesting, Counsel, that you've identified the person in question?
No.
Is he the man behind the Great Stink?
No.
That you know who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events take place?
Including the Great Stink.
Including the Great Stink.
Well, yes, my lord.
In fact, you could say that he's right here before my very eyes and all of your eyes. Why is everybody so stupid?
You're It's hard being this stupid.
I can see that, my lord.
It's so hard. I just can't keep it up anymore.
It brings up the bills. Brings in the bills.
You substantiate your latest claim now, then, Counsel. Who is the alleged witness of the Great Stink?
Watch the great stink. Who watched the
Take
great
that! The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber!
The man behind the stink of... The man behind the stink of 87?
Drebber! Drebber! Drebber!
Like, Naruto's just calling more like, Drebber, get over here!
Get over here!
Drebber, get over here right now with your stupid $30 black monocle and 99-cent haircut! Right now!
Mama Celia thinks she's gone mad.
Oh no, she's not home.
Yeah, that's why she's screaming.
Drebber?
Drebber.
The man behind the blight of
Fancy,
87?
please, please, please.
Drebber was involved? Where's your proof?
The previous... the previous
I'm sorry.
witness? You need to prove that. That's just absolutely out there, counsel.
Don't joke. I wouldn't put it past Ace to be like, how do you know? Point to the evidence.
How would you know that?
How would you know that?
How'd you know?
And then you have to point
There's
to
a lot of Drebbers out there. How we know it's
Instead
Mr.
of-
Enoch Drebber himself.
Instead of the newspaper, you have to point to the wax statue of Enoch Drebber.
Look at this, guys. It's a split image.
Counsel, that's just the same guy with different hair.
Yeah, and hair changes.
There's no way that's the same man.
My lord, please. Please, it's Drebber. It's Enoch
No.
Drebber. This is like that hit
No.
game Among Us.
Among Us? Are you saying Drebber vented? Are you saying the professor vented?
You know what? Yes, I am. Both of them are imposters. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork recreates that decade-old scene in great detail. The condemned criminal emerged from the grave, and beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern, stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber. What if it was Drebber's papa? But no.
Order. Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought. Sorry. Go ahead for it.
Ooh, who lives in a pineapple? Enoch Drebber. Surely not, counsel.
Drebber was there in Lowgate Cemetery.
No. No.
Fanzeeks. Fanzeeks, you made me break out a character. Because you, of all people, should be smarter than this.
Not true, didn't
We
happen.
literally got a newspaper at the front, at the bottom, and not even that small letters. Mr. Drebber.
In the sideways.
In
Like-
my defense, I wasn't here last trial.
Doesn't matter. I just got this today. This trial, like you. You have eyes. Read. You're smarter than this, Fanzeeks. You're smarter.
I'm sorry, the Great Stink really got
I
to
can
me.
understand literally every single other person in this courtroom.
Just
No
a little
offense.
sick right now.
No offense, my lord. I'm sorry. And no offense to spells, but everybody, every witness that has been on this stand, and I'm sorry, Susati, you're kind of included in this. You, Vanzeeks, of all people, should be smarter than this.
He just didn't want to believe it. Look at him. That's the face
Look,
of I
I know
didn't
your
want to believe
brother
it, but I
died,
have to
but
believe
what's
it.
the point? Because you can see him again. Apparently that's what happened last, quote unquote, last week, or honestly, for previous hours. I don't know what you're on.
Some Banzeek's time.
Van Zeke Central Time.
Man, this is like Naruto just breaking characters, scolding Vanzeeks. Come on.
Come on,
Be
me.
better than this.
What is all this talk about, Mr. Drebber? Is the name significant?
Okay, that's understandable because you weren't here.
I wasn't here. What happened?
Of course. Madame Two Spells doesn't know, does she?
Yes, it's extremely significant, madame. To your situation as well, in fact.
What situation?
The theft of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man.
No! But that would mean...
Ellipsis. Madame Dispels. It would appear you know the name Enoch Drebber.
Yes, I know it. But from long ago, in the past.
What?
Oh my!
Good gracious!
Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Yes, of course.
I'm Enoch Drebber.
Takes off
I'm
the hat
Enoch
and the wig.
Drebber.
The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in every single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain.
Great Britain.
However,
However,
in all of the articles, the witness was simply described as a certain young man. No details were published about his identity, and his name was never revealed.
until today. Wait. Yeah, that's just a contradiction. What is she talking about?
Shut up, let me finish talking.
Maybe she's talking about the Great Stink.
Let me finish talking, Jesus. Advance the text. Advance the text, I've been stuck in limbo for too long.
It's a big misunderstanding.
That is, apart from in one newspaper.
Oh,
See,
okay.
advance my text.
Yeah, nah.
The Daily Circus. It is the paper from which comes the article I have already shown the court.
The Daily Circus?
Daily Circus. You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article?
You must work for the Daily Circus, bro.
You look like you're the whole circus.
You look like you're the whole Daily Circus.
You're not a clown. You are the entire circus.
The entire Daily Circus.
Daily Circus.
Daily. Goodness me, yes, here it is. The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Drebber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of its students' dorms.
Unbelievable. I'm shocked for some reason.
I think you're shocked at the fact that it's only been published in one newspaper.
I guess so, because everybody, I guess, is stupid.
When I read the article, I went to meet with the man.
They didn't have internet.
His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of night would make a perfect exhibit for my house of horrors, whether it was the truth or not.
I care not for truth, only cool wax.
And money.
And money. I see. So you went to meet Mr. Drebber in order to sculpt the waxwork of the man, did you?
Exactament. He was studying science at the University of London in those days. He was just a poor student at the time I met with him. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork. And since that time, it has been in my museum to recreate the scene of terror from the cemetery. Oh, I had to sneeze, but it's not coming out.
Bless you.
Woo! I'm okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he'd witnessed. A criminal who had been put to death. re-emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. But the public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing
Anecdote.
that was soon forgotten.
Amusing antidote.
10 years later, the same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal. Ostensibly
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
to use as a body double for the victim in the case we're discussing here today. Even though the waxwork's build is a poor match for the victim, and its face is obscured by our mask. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing?
For the lols. For the memes.
Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the Crystal Tower. The birdcage had in fact contained not the body of Mr. Asman, but that same waxwork. The coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated, Dr. Sith, would have noticed immediately. And yet, she submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court has seen earlier. Why?
Because the waxwork was that of the professor, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Dr. Sith put her name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who was still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Drebber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would do anything to protect. Which is precisely why Mr. Drebber used that particular waxwork as the body double.
Big stretch, but okay.
My lord, this court must summon Dr. Sith to the stand. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Drebber are connected.
Well, all right. But only if we
Who
summon
cares
Mr.
what Strongheart says?
Only if we summon Mr. Jedi as well.
Who?
But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Sith is unable to participate in these proceedings. Is that not the case?
She told us so herself, didn't she?
Lord Van Zieks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Lord Strongheart?
No.
The Pandora's box you were warned about. Warned about is the professor's case. But please, don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me.
Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago, and surely nobody will want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord Van Zieks. I know you can read my mind, buddy. Please.
Well, I guess we can't get Sith in here. Let's just get Strongheart in here.
Please,
Let's just
Van
waste
Zieks.
his time.
Just do it. Who cares?
The prosecution calls for the instructions in that missive to be scrapped.
Let's go.
But Lord Van Zieks, the missive was issued from the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Objection! The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me.
Yes.
Who are you?
Let's Enoch Drebber and Dr. Sith both take the stand together.
I see what you were saying now, Ajit. I understand now.
I understand completely. Ora! Very well. I will uphold your request. For now, until I don't feel like it anymore. Bailiff, send a subpoena with immediate effect addressed to Dr. Sith, the forensic investigating team. The woman is compelled to attend on Her Majesty's orders.
All right then. Enoch Drebber and Dr. Sith. They weren't colluding with one another. This crime could have never been committed. I'm just a stone's throw away. I can feel it. The truth behind all of this is about to come out.
Oh, I guess 2 spells here too.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Who wants to spell? I'll be Dr. Sith.
Thank you for your attendance at such short notice, Dr. Sith.
I'm disappointed in you, Lord Van Zeeks. You've completely betrayed the agreed policy of both Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Hello?
Professor's
Hello?
office.
Hello? Did we just get a confession already? Speedrun? 20%?
Speed run
I-
any percent.
I need to get closer to my monitor. I can't see anything.
Confession? Any percent? Speedrun?
Untrue. Untrue. If you don't wish to become under autopsy next week, you should stop right now, Defense.
Betrayal is not in my nature, as long as the truth isn't compromised.
Well, don't worry, Dr. Sith. I'll just stick with Van Zeeks.
If it is, if there's even a hint of wrongdoing, then no matter whom it concerns or disgruntles, I will pursue the matter to its bitter end, as would any prosecutor worth his salt.
Let's go.
This really do be a bra moment.
Mr. Drebber, you took the victim's life by means of a machine that you constructed in your workshop.
Who's Drebber?
Him.
Who's playing Drebber?
Ellipsis.
though? Oh, UA, okay.
Wait, so Mega, who do you want? Do you want Drebber or do you want 2 spells?
I'll be French.
Okay.
You'll be French?
I'll be French.
And Dr. Sith, as the investigating coroner, you were the first on the scene to examine the victim's body. It is the belief of the defense that you collaborated with each other and were both complicit in this crime.
Yes.
Where's your evidence, Defense?
At present, we have no definitive evidence. But we do have a very significant clue.
What are you talking about?
Our sources do trust me.
I'm talking, of course, about the waxwork.
Wax.
This model of the killer, known as the Professor, who was sentenced to death 10 years ago.
You don't need to tell me. I witnessed the man's execution with my own eyes and officially pronounced him dead.
That remains to be seen.
Is that so?
Yeah.
According to newspaper reports from the time, on the night following his execution, the killer came back to life.
Don't waste my time.
And the sole witness to that mysterious event
Was you.
was you, Mr. Drebber, wasn't it?
No.
Ellipsis.
If what you saw in the graveyard that night 10 years ago wasn't some chilling fiction, but reality, it would make you privy to a very great secret of Dr. Sith's. A secret so profound, it could compel the coroner to agree to collaborate in your evil scheme, in fact.
Ellipsis.
Mr. Drebber, tell the court, tell everyone the truth of what you saw that night in Lowgate Cemetery.
Ellipsis.
No.
In Watergate
Speak!
Cemetery.
So he was the student who saw it.
You can't
You
see
can
the
see
result
that
of the
was
doc-
actually, can't you? With the man of the Madame Tussauds, I mean.
Surely he's not going to claim the truth at all.
Especially not after all these years.
He was a research student from the University of London, was he? And a big Summerburst looked good, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Good job on the peanut gallery sound, guys.
Yeah.
What an interesting twist.
Hmm?
When at the time, not one person would take me seriously. Yet now here we are, 10 years later, and suddenly my story matters, and in a court of law, too. Very well then, if everyone so wishes. Let's be frank. I'll tell you the truth of what happened on that night, for what it's worth.
Sith just
Oopsies.
looks at him. He just looks at him like, I will stab you.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, don't.
Ellipsis.
Ellipsis.
Bonk. So, Mr. Drebber, your testimony, please, about the events of the night 10 years ago. You will tell the court exactly what you stumbled across in Lowgate Cemetery. or die?
Yes, of course. As you wish.
Such an extra shrug. He's like, oh.
Smug character. In the cemetery 10 years earlier.
The reason I was in Lowgate Cemetery at all 10 years ago was for a spot of moonlighting, shall we say. Yes, the illustration in that newspaper article was based on what I witnessed that night. But thinking back now, I realized that I never actually saw the professor.
Wow.
Soon afterwards, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted for a model of me from wax. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article.
You heard it here first, folks.
Wait a minute! You're claiming you didn't actually see the professor now? Hello?
Of course, you'd have to have a screw loose if you believed a corpse could come back from the dead.
But, so, you're saying this article is...
Not worth the paper it's printed on? I think that would describe it perfectly, yes.
Ugh.
If the details in that article weren't true, it
Then why
nullifies your
are we
argument.
here?
Then why are we here, Mr. Naruhodo? Susato, don't. I know this is correct. You know he's
why
lying.
are we here? Why am I here?
It nullifies your argument for why Mr. Trevor and Dr. Sith have been working together.
Shut up.
So he's discrediting himself to cripple my argument?
Tell me, witness. You claim to have been in the cemetery on some auxiliary business. Can you elaborate?
No.
That's right. Grave robbing, to be precise. As you know, Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So among students at the university, it had a reputation for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Convicted condemned.
Grave robbing, you say?
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative. Of course, I never laid a finger on any valuables buried with the dead.
Including the dead.
So you are one of the so-called resurrectionists, a particularly unpleasant scourge on society.
You say scourge?
Scourge.
Actually, my fellows and I went by another name, the Repurposers.
That is a stupid name. That is quite beyond the pale. You would invite divine retribution, sir, with your
Yes.
stupid name.
Well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with a bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add.
I see.
Damn, what a circus.
Out of interest, who drew the illustration for this article?
I did, sir.
Ah, yes. That was the reporter who exposed me. He sketched that right in front of me as I described the scene. Obviously, as time ticked on, I bitterly regretted what I had done. Claiming to have seen something I never truly saw. Foolish. Very foolish.
Well, counsel for the defense, I think we're done here. Guilty.
Wait, what? No, wait, stop. What?
Guilty.
I
No.
still have my cross-examination.
Okay.
All right. You may proceed to cross-examination now.
Thank you.
I don't want you to, but you
At once, my lord, I promise. It'll be worthwhile, I'm sure.
Let's go.
In the cemetery.
Basically, just do all this and wait for these okay, that's not gonna work. Hold it!
I feel like Van Seeks is going to be like, yeah, I'm on your side. They're lying.
Let's go. By moonlighting, you mean grave robbing, don't you?
Don't do.
So yeah, as I was
Surely
saying,
you need.
I was saying
Surely you only.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum here. So yeah,
Did you just call me Tweedledee?
would you like to be Tweedledum?
I prefer Tweedle go. I was about to say something unfamily appropriate. As you were.
Surely
Never
you
mind.
only need to look at the graveyard scene and my appearance to gauge the answer to that.
Haha, I'm French.
Okay.
Don't you look at me like that?
The lantern and spade.
You mean shovel. So who on earth would want to buy a dead
Do
body?
not bring that argument into court.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Naruto, it is a shovel. Oh, it is a spade, by the way.
No, it's a shovel.
No.
This is on and on. I was just making a joke.
Any major hospital.
A hospital?
In order to better understand the human body, the study of anatomy is crucial to medical science. But there isn't a hospital in the world that has enough specimens to work with. Though, obviously, they can't openly express an interest in obtaining more by dubious means.
As aspiring scientists, we young research students had no money to work with, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we made surreptitious arrangements with the hospital via some of our medical student acquaintances.
What's so funny, Mega?
I'm on Twitter. I found a Reddit post. My boyfriend won't stop calling me Tony Pizza.
What?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
We would never take anything of value from the graves. This was all for the furtherance of science, you see.
I like how Drebber's animation perfectly represent what I just responded to with what Mega said.
That's what we all told ourselves every time we stole into the graveyard at night, spade in hand. You realize body snatching is a serious crime. If you were caught, you could expect the gravest of consequences. We students were caught between the hammer and the anvil. We needed funds for research.
Professor Harebrain said exactly the same thing.
I'm quite speechless at the apparent levity with which you've revealed this abhorrent behavior.
Well, if you wanted to know why I was there at Lowgate Cemetery, that's the reason.
Angie Drebber.
Angie.
Angie.
But I never expected it to end the way it did. That I regret to this day.
Hold it! The strange happening at Lowgate Cemetery, which you now deny.
Not entirely. I ran to fetch the police at the time, you know. I was shaking like a leaf. But they didn't believe a word of it. In fact, I was very nearly arrested myself.
So you went to the papers instead?
I started big with the London News, but unsurprisingly, they didn't want to know either. In the end, though, it was reporters from the gossip rags, the gutter press, that came to get my story. And it spread like the plague through the capital, as gossip-hungry Londoners lapped up the tale. The story was in every single paper at the time, with the exception of some broadsheets. And yet only 2 or 3 of them actually interviewed me personally. Most of the accounts turned out to be very interpretive ghost stories.
What about the article in the Daily Circus?
That particular journalist found me at my dormitory. I don't know how, but he discovered my name. So I recounted to him exactly what had happened that night.
And from your description, he drew this illustration?
Yes.
Precisely. That's how I learned the condemned man was the infamous professor. Because the reporter told me so. I had no idea myself, you see. Newspaper reporters are wont to snoop around in matters that don't concern them. So the scene portrayed in the illustration is accurate then? Well...
Hold it! This lie. What are you talking about?
I think I explained already, didn't I?
No.
Logate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. For some absurd reason, I was scared of the graveyard at night. And as a result, only too willing to believe that nonsense about the dead coming back to life.
But you said you actually saw it.
I said what I'd seen in my mind's eye. After all, resurrection is impossible, isn't it? You'd have to be unhinged to think otherwise.
You look unhinged.
Unless, of course.
Wait. These two have the same eye color
Your point?
and hair color.
Your point? So what? We just happen
He's
to be
the
fashionable.
Professor.
No.
We just happen to be fashionable.
Oh my god!
I just thought to get that,
You have some evidence that proves I encountered the professor that night.
Yeah, you are the professor.
I don't know. Is there any material evidence that could show you really did see the professor?
If we have anything at all, Miss Naruhodo.
I know. I need to present it against that irritatingly backtracking statement of his, but I don't have it.
The point is, that night was a pivotal moment of my life.
I think I do know where it is, though. Hold it! Hold it! A young woman being Madame Two Spells, of course.
Precisely. I must say, I didn't expect to run into her again like this 10 years later.
Oh, right,
Danny.
I'm French woman.
Right, no. Yeah.
As I have explained.
How do I do French again?
I was by the name publishing the article and concept of the man.
Okay.
That's what French people sound like, right?
She got. Sorry, she got a little sick during the
Susato? Okay, you okay, good. You are technically alright. So let's just switch right now. Just go over there. Alright, you now in front of Two Spells. There we go. Okay, continue on. So yes, the article in the Daily Circus, I think you said.
I was a poor student with barely a penny to my name at the time. And the young lady put £5 in front of me. So you readily consented to having a waxwork of yourself made and gave permission for it to be put on display.
Should have done it for a guinea.
I did. I should sell what little I had to sell, I concluded.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Don't.
There's like spit flying out of her mouth.
I possess something else from that day. N'est-ce pas?
N'est-ce pas?
N'est-ce pas?
Did you? I can't say I remember.
I'm so impressed you can understand what he's saying.
Wait, Mr. Trevor, you actually understand her now? What?
Driver's like, yeah, I can translate.
Yeah, it's French.
I am a robot.
What do you mean?
What was it, madame? I'm scared to ask this. Mr. Trevor, please translate.
I can understand any dialect except Scottish.
I sound Scottish.
Ah.
Oh yes, I made a point of taking it with me whenever I ... made an excursion into any cemetery.
Hey, Mr. Robot going for the ... Is it? ...
You took a cab
Like he's doing a-
sir. To what end?
Whenever Trevor has to think really hard, it's like ...
Ellipsis.
dot.
To record
Ellipsis.
the details of the bodies I disinterred.
Dot.
but I had no intention of ever visiting a graveyard again after that night, ... So I sold it.
I see. But I still have the mausoleum. It is part of the special exhibit in my house's horrors. I am very meticulous about such details. It is to spells where.
It would seem then that this is the very camera Mr. Drebber took with him to locate cemetery on the night in question.
Yes. Interesting. Details of the camera have been updated.
Camera.
I'm gonna do this just in case we get excuse me, but I think that's the evidence. This article, you mean? Published in the Daily Circus?
Yes, somebody
The Daily
informed the
People.
dean that it was my name that appeared in the article. And carelessly let slip that night after night, I was digging up graves. Hardly a model student, you might say. The university's reputation was execrably defiled, and I was expelled as a result.
Secretly.
How does it feel you were
Mon
in these complicated words?
Dieu! I had no idea.
How's
In
it
my
feel?
defense, it's not a common word nowadays.
How's it feel?
It isn't.
How does
It really
feel?
is.
Secretly.
Leave
How
him
does
alone.
it
It
feel
really
to
isn't
not
a
have
common
a
word.
common word that you see?
I would have gotten it wrong too. Leave him alone. And I'm a freaking English
Look,
major. I would have gotten it wrong.
I'm not criticizing you or anything. I just
I'm just
want you
criticizing
to
you.
remember. I'm just trying to let you know and remember this.
I
trying to
want you
criticize
to. I want you to
Yeah.
remember this moment for all
I
time.
want you to feel this pain.
I want you to feel the horrors.
I want you to understand what I've been through.
And having been run out of university, you found employment in a somewhat specialist trade.
Oh. Dot.
You combined your knowledge of science with knowledge of stage magic to create various experimental to create various experimental machines intended to demonstrate never before seen technology. And you used those deceptive machines to trick the government and private investors into giving you money.
Money.
There you go. I did it. Professor Albert Harebrain was just your latest victim, wasn't he?
No.
Whatever are you talking about? I have no recollection of doing anything of the sort.
Ellipses.
Excuse me, what does
Alright.
that mean?
What's Drebber up to? Why would he suddenly change his tune and recant his claim?
I wonder if perhaps it's because his circumstances have changed now.
What circumstances? That I have to ask.
Well,
You know.
if he admits to having seen the professor emerging alive from his grave 10 years ago,
It will expose a secret in Dr. Sid's past that she would surely desperately want to hide. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you, Miss Susato. I get it. Drebber and Sid working together. And if Drebber wanted to betray her, there'd be no reason to continue to collaborate. So in which case, I probably have to prove that wrong. To which I can expose them collaborating with each other. It's crazy. And to do that, I gotta prove that Drebber knows how to do it with the dead.
yes, Miss Naruhodo, I read your mind exactly. That's exactly how you do.
Great, I'm glad we had that sorted out. Get out of my head, Susato!
What is that man in that other room doing?
Okay. What, man?
Huh?
Oh.
Huh?
I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I got the joke.
Huh?
Anyways, objection. Wait,
Huh?
really?
Laser face.
Really?
Laser face.
Bro,
Okay.
imagine objecting and getting it wrong. Could not be me.
Objection!
Okay, hold on.
Laser face.
There's blood.
There will be blood. Shed.
Shed. The man in the mirror nods his
his
head.
head.
So what did you present last time?
The camera.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because like it was new. That's the newest evidence we've got, and it's like, do we have evidence? And surely this wouldn't continue until we had new evidence.
I can give you a hint.
You're wrong.
Objection.
That's the hint. That last statement was stupid. I hate it.
Strike it from the record.
Objection. League of Legends.
Here's a hint.
Objection!
There's a detail he wouldn't have known otherwise.
Yeah, 9.
Look through your chord record.
No.
Objection. The professor. Oh, that sounds good to me. The
Because
professor.
ideally, because if he didn't know, as he said, he didn't know it was the professor. But I mean, that could be a lie. Probably is a lie.
I can't believe the professor was actually McGilded this whole time.
Objection.
Oh, okay. Objection.
Haha, McGilded.
Sorry, Mr. Drebber, but I don't believe that.
Don't believe what?
Your latest claim. You did see the professor on that night 10 years ago.
Huh. Oh dear. We seem to be at odds. But I was there. And you were not. I know what I did not see.
The illustration was this article, was drawn based upon what you told the journalist that what you witnessed. A figure emerging from a tomb, wearing an iron mask.
Yes, when the killer was tried 10 years ago, it was decided in the closed court's ruling that the man would wear the mask to hide his identity. It wasn't to be removed, even during his execution and subsequent burial.
Trial burial.
Not even the prison wardens want to see the man's face. But obviously, the provision of this mask was not public knowledge.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Drebber, as you've just heard,
Ah!
a lowly student of the University of London certainly wouldn't have known about the condemned man's mask. So unless you'd actually seen the professor that night, it's inconceivable that the artist would have included the mask in that illustration.
Arg!
Arg.
Order. When was the Drebber?
Ellipsis. It's a vile scene, isn't it? If you look closely.
Huh?
And as I've already been at pains to point out, I was utterly petrified. Which is why I had it in my head that I'd seen such a blood-curdling sight. But afterwards, I came to my senses and realized that I had been mistaken.
You're still saying you didn't see it?
It wasn't a zombie, it was a giant cockroach.
If you're stubbornly sticking to that story, witness, then amend your testimony to explain exactly how you think your eyes deceived you. Of course. Only too happy to oblige.
I can't believe he's still not going to concede at that point.
To concede that the point.
To concede at the...
To concede the point!
Concede at the point.
Leave me alone!
Get on the point!
What I in fact witnessed was a fellow grave robber at work.
just gonna leave this here.
Gonna just. Objection. Okay. I'll just press. Gee!
What did you just say to me?
Gee!
What did you just say? I could kill you for that.
Please no, my lord. Hold it. A fellow grave robber? What are you talking about?
Well, I wasn't the only one busy in the cemetery that night, you know. Other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole he'd dug, my heart very nearly stopped. So that's the terrifying sight I actually saw, you see. You're claiming it was just another student on equally insalubrious business as yourself.
Yeah.
Many of the medical students would wear metal masks to protect them from bacteria during dissections. Clearly, the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
Anonymity? What?
But there's more to the story, isn't there? The article goes on to say, in the next second, a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath then stilled once more.
We might assume that the sexton discovered the miscreants at work, perhaps, and fired upon one of them.
If a gravedigger had shot someone in the cemetery, I think it might have been rather big news, my lord.
Yes, well...
I know that's crazy. I would think that if you hear a gunshot, it would...
Well...
Yeah.
I can only assume it was an embellishment bolted on later by the reporter.
Thank you! Excuse me! Madame Tuspels. Don't take it out on Mr. Holmes, please. I know I'm also kind of a little upset with All right, yes, Usada, you're okay, great. Continue.
What?
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Drebber's last remark was significant to you in some way, I think?
No. I thought it was a little stain, that's all.
Okay, kid. Drebber, what is she saying?
She says, I thought it was a little strange, that is all.
Thank you.
How Monsieur Drebber could claim this now?
How Monsieur Drebber could claim this now. If you don't mind me saying, madame, what are you talking about?
What are you saying? The lines write themselves,
They
mate.
do.
Well, yes, of course, university's almost right.
I can only think of Usami and Teru Teru at the end of the first case.
Usami.
Yeah,
Well,
I know
when I met
exactly
you
what you were
10
talking
years-
about.
Well, when I met you 10 years ago at your university dormitory,
Your house is about you and it's the cemetery, non.
you recounted to me about your adventures in the cemetery, Non.
Including gunshot.
Including the gunshot. She said gum shop, not gunshot. Stop!
Man,
Camera
he's been
time.
sick for a while.
I did not go to the gum shop! You should watch your tongue, you know! Objection! Have a care, Drebber. That is no way to speak to a lady.
Camera pans over. Camera pans over when he says that's no way to speak to a lady. It's just her foaming at the mouth, spitting everywhere. It's no way to speak to a lady.
Well, Van Zeeks, way to pick him. By the way, someone followed. Who followed? real quick.
It was me. I followed.
Acrobadon, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it.
That's a weird way to pronounce Meganaunt.
Grr!
Please, Madame, 2 spells. Carry on. Also, Mr. Drebber, are you sure she said gum shop or gun
She
shop?
said gum shop.
I think I understood the gunshot part.
How? You do
Well-
not need my assistance then?
Actually, no, I just lied. You kind of confirmed it just now. Thank you.
Ah!
Got him.
Of course.
All right, what did she say? I actually didn't understand.
I said, of course.
Mr. Drebber,
I
could you
will
help?
translate no more.
You will translate no more.
I believe I can be of assistance.
Oh, are you?
This nincompoop next to me said, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Sith.
According to what Monsieur Drebler told me at the time,
According to what Monsieur Drebber told me at the time.
he had a good shot from behind him in the boiling the condemned man.
Oh,
I
sorry.
said nothing of the sort.
What?
He did hear a gunshot from behind him, and the bullet hit the condemned man.
I said nothing of the sort.
I like the idea that everyone understands her completely except Naruto.
Like, I don't know
Everyone
what she's saying.
speaks it.
Mr. Naruhodo, how do you not understand this? It's clear as day of what she said.
It's just
How?
Naruto. It's just French.
Dr. Sith walks over to the bench. Said, "You want to
It's
know how
just
I understand
French.
it?
How?
If you take a look at
No,
her,
you were very
Yes.
explicit about the
avert
Picaro,
your,
you can take 2 spells.
avert your gaze
no,
slightly lower,
no.
Mr. Naruhodo. Do you see the text box there? Try reading it.
Text?
No, please.
Text? What are you talking about? What's a text box?
The text box underneath Madam Two Spells, of course. The one that lets me read it and translate for you.
What are you? What? What?
I
Yeah, that
see.
one.
You're not
Right
of the
there.
gifted few who can
What?
read the text boxes.
You're
Wait,
not a tarnished.
What do you mean
No wonder-
gifted?
No wonder you're so surprised when we invade your mind.
What? Wait, is that how you all? What? Wait.
Mr.
what-
Naruhodo, look down. You see that text box underneath you?
No, I don't say this. What are you talking about? There's nothing. It's just a desk. Here, look here. That's a desk.
Carry
That's
on.
a desk.
Carry on. No, go ahead. I've said my piece. If you can't see it, you can't see it.
Okay. Well, Sasada, what are they is she right? Is there like this text box under me?
You know, I didn't want to say it.
What? You can see it?
I didn't want to say it, but
I thought you did. I thought it was just an unspoken rule of just not mentioning it.
About the mask and the figure I was wearing.
about the mask that the figure was wearing.
Amazing.
You like my French accent?
Yeah, he's very French.
It sure is the accent.
And the blood that splashed around from when it was sworn.
And the blood that spattered over you when he was shot.
Enough! Shut up, woman! You are making all this up!
That will do.
Mega, do you want to take 2 spells or the judge?
That will do, huh?
Do you want 2 spells or the judge? Because I kind of want to give Picaro something.
I'll be French.
All right, not Mega. Picaro, you're the judge. If you
Alright,
want to
Megan, you're the
roll.
judge anyways.
You're the judge anyways. My question did not matter in the slightest.
Man, I cannot judge by default. Mr. Drebber,
Yes.
you refuse to account for just given by Madam Two Spells. Tusk spells. Sorry.
Ellipsis.
Yes.
I have no recollection of ever saying those things.
Come on! Do you really expect us to believe you?
For yourself, counsel. I will not permit baseless accusations in my courtroom.
Right.
Oh.
Under the circumstances, I think it best that you supplement your testimony with a statement to clarify your position on this witness.
Very well.
The V for Vendetta.
There was no gunshots from behind me at all, nor any spattering blood.
Wait, there is! There is! The camera!
We got receipts.
Objection!
That's stupid.
Mr. Drebber, do you remember this camera?
But that is the camera from that fateful night.
But that is the camera from that fateful night! Exclamation point.
Thank you, Dr. Sith.
Oh,
Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. It's the camera you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Drebber.
Ellipsis and ... Is that supposed to be significant?
This kind of camera is rarely seen in our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens extends forwards on the end of some bellows.
Bellows.
Like this.
Hold it!
Wait, you actually have a hold it? Hello?
What's that? There, just on the bellows. It looks like a dark red stain. That is some gum I had borrowed from the other day.
Gum.
Also,
May I say?
uh-huh.
You know what I will say is that the people out there who may not be watching streams who actually speak French, they'll punch in the air right now. Anyway.
Mr. Drebber,
Good.
how is this gum?
It's a very wet gum.
It must have slipped in when I last used it and it liquefied over the 10 years.
Liquid gum.
Liquefy?
Liquid gum.
Yes. It is very special gum.
Do we have Kool-Aid during these times?
Oh, no.
So, okay, you know what? Sure, that's right. It's a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact, Van Zeeks. Yes, you are completely right. That apparently
Lord! You're suggesting.
Yes.
Yes, my lord. It would appear to be a splatter of blood.
Blood.
Something that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test. Isn't that right, Dr. Sith?
Bruh.
Dr.
Bruh
Sith?
moment. I have nothing to say.
Meister?
It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood and not the blood of some animal.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm just gonna... Oh, you are already at 200%. Okay. Dan, if you could increase your mic volume, that'd be great.
Oh, okay, I could try.
Oh, okay, good.
Let me see here.
People talk louder when it sounds smart, right?
Correct!
Yes! No, wait.
Well, okay, let me try this.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna be real nine. It's probably just a case of me talking quietly. Let me shut my door a little bit so I don't disturb my fellow housemates.
Okay, understandable.
Understandable.
Is it Sith
Yeah, I'm
or
alone
Sith?
now.
We
I
think
don't know
it's
about it yet.
Sith. And by we mean
It's-
you,
it's-
Okay, I will.
It's Sith. It's like the Star Wars Sith.
Okay,
In
let me.
Japanese, her name is said as Shis.
Sheesh.
So he's Sith.
Sheesh.
Okay, let me try this sentence again. I'll be speaking a little bit louder. Tell me if I sound better. It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood and not the blood of some animal.
Perfect.
But yes, to test whether or not it's blood at all is simple enough.
I propose that Madame Tuspel's testimony was correct. and that on the night in question 10 years ago, you were spattered with blood from the gunshot wound.
Well, scythe does make sense, but in Japanese, shis is the verb to die.
To die. To
And
die.
To die! And that, furthermore, you really did witness the condemned professor emerging from his tomb.
That's bold noise.
There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words,
I forgot.
In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
Objection! But why? Why would he want to do that?
Because he hates me like literally every single other person in this world.
Yeah, what?
But if not for his own gain, it would seem.
For whose then? Who could it benefit?
Mr. Trevor's obviously lying in order to protect somebody.
My goodness. He shielded someone.
Yes, my lord. And clearly, it's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor coming back to life to be exposed.
Well, I'm like myself on my desk. Well, counsel. Who is it then? Who is this witness trying to protect by lying about what he saw that night?
I mean, their hairs and eyes are the same, so he's. Oh, they are
Clearly,
kind of
it
close
must-
in age. Is this his older sister?
I'll stop you right there. No.
Aw,
They're married.
They're married.
they're married.
No.
I don't think they're married. Cousins! Take that! The obvious answer is Dr. Sith.
Sith.
Whatever do you mean?
Ellipses.
Imagine if the convict who'd been sentenced to death was not in fact killed. Imagine if that was to come to light.
What are you in?
I
I don't know why I thought that was Trevor for a second.
I mean, maybe that is the point. They do look alike.
You know.
What are you insinuating, defense? Defense? What are you insinuating? Hello?
What are you insinuating, Mr. What are you insinuating, Mr.
The defense?
Mr. Naruto?
What are you incinerating? Defense?
Indeed.
What are you incinerating?
I am incinerating nothing.
What are you insinuating, defense?
And imagine if the convict in question was the country's most hated mass murderer. If it was the professor.
That would be an unprecedented scandal.
Objection! Unprecedented! This is beyond a joke! Need I point out that the dead cannot come back to life?
The beyond the joke will honestly go so well with this.
Objection, first of all, unprecedented. Second of all,
It's not a joke! Identity theft is not a joke, my lord!
What you're suggesting would mean that the execution never actually happened.
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Objection! Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape, not in Great Britain.
Objection!
I escaped.
But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging.
That's really true, Counsel. The implications of misconduct would not stop at the supervisor and the coroner. It would take the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up.
Unless the professor is Sith's relative. And it's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Sith will consent to any demand made of her by someone who threatened to expose the secret. Even if that meant being complicit in a crime.
You mean?
I mean that Dr. Sith wasn't collaborating in Mr. Drebber's wicked scheme. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the dead body of Mr. Asman with the waxwork model and fabricated the autopsy report.
Wah, wah. Ho, ho, ho.
My leg!
My leg!
Lord Van Zeeks?
Pray forgive my freshly filled hallowed chalice and a whole raft of other discourtesies now.
Me!
It's just the sort of tall tale Londoners would enjoy, I grant you.
Me.
I actually hate you.
An executed killer rising from the dead, a Scotland Yard cover-up, a conspiracy at the highest levels. So let me ask you one thing.
What's that?
If a condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night only to be shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger and disposed of him forever?
Maybe Dr. Sith?
You run out of chalices.
Well,
I have no idea at the moment.
We have too little information to work that out at present, I think.
I know who it was.
I couldn't agree more.
I know who it was.
The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. And have you considered this, my learned Nibinese friend?
Considered what?
Do you realize just what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such criminal activity? It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British police force and judiciary. Mega.
Wait, that's me? Oh.
You were
what
him
was his voice?
last time, right?
I think so, yeah.
Hard to imagine the sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
Hard to imagine the sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
To rely on some staged deception when so much is at stake would be madness.
Well, I suppose.
And this was no petty crime either. The victim was murdered.
Killed.
A man who'd already invested money in the venture and would be instrumental in future profits too.
Pew, pew.
Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr. Asman at all. Or are you forgetting that his death results in me receiving not a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim, no?
There is the contract, that's very true.
The motive for this case runs deep, though. I can feel it.
Using threats to force the head of the forensic investigation team to cooperate is extreme. Especially for a government grant he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Asman's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Drebber's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Asman, because why not?
What?
It's funny. I guess.
Kinda funny.
But why? What was his motive then? Is it really just nothing?
Your time is up, my learned friend. I'd say you have only one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade.
I know what happened.
Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we?
Oh.
How do you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country?
Man, Cosmo dodged it.
That's not Cosmo, that's
At
McGilded.
this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture.
That rolling.
So, counsel, present your evidence.
No.
Alright. Who exactly was Mr. Asman to Drebber? There's a connection there that no one's seen yet. And I'm going to have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is.
I know who he is.
Now's a good time to look through your court record.
Right now?
Mr. Asmund killed the professor.
2 different pieces of evidence that are linked by some detail.
Mr.
Well, here's the
Asmund
science
is the
trophy that we
professor.
still have not at all dealt with. Okay.
Yeah, 9.
Boing, boing.
9, look inside the jar.
And
Yeah.
Jar.
okay.
It's called a cup.
No,
trophy.
a cup jar.
I thought it was a back scratcher.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh
it's
yeah,
back
shoulder
scratch. Yeah,
massage. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Asmund is the professor.
Contract.
He escaped
hereby
death
enters
by
into
shooting himself.
Is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income. May only uphold his right on the condition that both contracting parties are alive. Yeah, he doesn't care about money.
That's the professor's handwriting.
So yeah, yes, my lord. The evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted the victim dead is right here. I have 0 clue.
It's that one.
'Cause he wants to. My badge.
That one is that one.
Examine things.
Yeah, 9.
Because he fell like-
9. I see it. Whose signature is that?
Yo!
Take
that! It's this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago, and every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us?
We didn't talk about the Great Sting.
That dribble should never have been written. It's typical gutter press nonsense that means nothing.
Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, when considered alongside another piece of evidence, it will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Asmund dead.
What other evidence?
Counsel, you will present your supplementary evidence without delay. I'm surprised I got to do that work quickly. The evidence, when cross-reference with the newspaper article, establishes a motive for the deed.
The evidence is...
Take that!
Your Honor.
It's this contract, my lord. Mr. Drebber, this is the contract you signed with Mr. Asmund.
Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact. That proves I had no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not.
What?
Angie Drebber. I can't. Like, look at that face. It's like, Angie. Don't talk to me. I Angie.
I am going to kill you.
I am Angie.
I am very angry.
There's something very significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Odie Asmund. Odie...
It's...
Addy Osman.
It seems the defense has uncovered something the rest of us have missed. So, my learned friend, point out what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common. Where exactly is the link between this newspaper article and the contract?
Right there.
Yeah, you're glad I spotted
Thank
that.
you.
Huh?
I would not have seen it otherwise. Take that. With what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
Oh, no.
Signature on the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What?
As the court has heard, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Drebber and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing. And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Asmund's signature at the bottom.
What's in it now? Good lord! Yes, they're identical.
Dent. In short, The journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Drebber 10 years ago was the victim of this case. Mr. Odie Asman. Odie Asman.
What a world.
But explain to the court why!
Why not?
Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Asman?
Because it's funny.
Were you not listening? He's the one that made the article. If you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Drebber talked about that article in his testimony. He wanted it gone.
I got this. Give me 1 second. I can do it. And me.
You good? Oh, okay.
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative.
That's right beyond the pale. You wouldn't invite divine retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article.
So yeah, I'm glad you all saw that flashback.
Moida.
At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However, this single newspaper article changed your entire life.
Ellipsis.
So, Mr. Asman used to be a newspaper journalist, did he?
He did, my lord. In fact, it's widely held belief that Asman managed to position himself at the heart of his criminal network, thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as a reporter.
So, you had to give up on your dream and leave university. You lost everything. Eventually, you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article. Written by Mr. Asman.
Enough!
Oh.
Stop this endless drivel about my life!
What?
Explain yourself, Mr. Drebber.
Yes, it's true. I had to leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
What do you mean?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did, only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other after all.
Gracious.
Good
Making a
boy.
name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench. Being forced out of the university because of low grades was the best thing that could have happened to me!
Objection! Shut up. Mr. Drebber, do you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do! Who's better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
Mega.
Yes.
Mega.
Yele.
Mega.
Hello. Here's the guinea bee boy.
Thank you.
What the? Oh.
A guinea.
A guinea.
Guinea.
McGuinea.
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you!
And I have evidence to prove it.
How are you in a position to say anything about me? I do not know you from Adam!
Who?
Fine. If you think you have evidence, go ahead. Show it.
Who's Adam?
What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lack talent?
Can't we start this over at Gidney?
It's this photograph of McGilded. This photo of you that I found.
Yeah, this photo of you. Oh, take that!
Look how unhappy you look.
My gosh, it's the back scratcher. Do you remember this, Mr. Drebber? We found it in your workshop. This back scratcher.
I'm gonna beat you over the head with it.
Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science?
Exactly, it's this trophy, Council.
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future.
Accolade.
Kool-Aid.
Are you good? Mr. Van Zieks.
Yes, I just need a drink.
I'm drinking Accolade right now.
Well,
gracious.
Van Zieks gets Alkalade and I have Adderall. Two sides of the same coin.
Is that the 6th time you said that, by the way? Jesus.
What?
Good gracious!
Your
Oh,
prospects
good.
for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because
Nope.
even then, you were a genius in your field.
You were the best, the best, the best,
The pears, the pears,
The pears.
the
the
pears.
best.
But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste.
You took everything. I don't
Oh.
even know who you are.
All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Asman was, but when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man.
The truth is...
Finally, he's going to fold. Please fold!
Objection. Objection.
Held it?
Hold it.
What's what I think it is?
Huh?
It was. It's this.
Fine. Clearly, this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. All of it.
What?
Bonjour.
What are you doing?
It's exactly as the Japanese man said.
That's racist.
I was coerced into going along with this man's plot to murder the victim. On the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago.
So, everybody, I may be that weird Nipponese, the quote-unquote Nipponese fellow that makes all your courtroom shenanigans interesting, huh? Look at that, huh? Look at this. The big beyond dream that I've had about this very famed, loving scientist person. I'm sorry, I don't really know exactly what it is. Whatever, who cares? I was right. Take that, everybody.
No.
Yes.
Lord!
Bonjour.
Dr. Sith! Do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true.
Oh, Lord.
That day,
That's it for that.
when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating.
Oh.
That memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. It was the professor again, staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. There was a note tucked inside the model's jacket.
Dr. Sith, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night 10 years ago.
All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice, and had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
Let's go.
Why on earth would you buckle now?
I mean, Doc, it's too late.
Well, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
So then, Mr. Trapper, what do you say to that? Your accomplice has admitted everything.
Surely it goes without saying.
You admit your part in it too, then?
I admit nothing at all!
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Van Zieks, you're closer to him. Can you punch him in the face for me?
I just throws a chalice. Just to try.
It's unprofessional.
You throw chalices at a lantern.
Remind me whose fault is that? Don't answer that, it's yours.
Not mine! Not mine!
Don't answer that, it's yours.
You see, Van Zieks, this is what you call putting the blame on someone else that has nothing to do with it.
I pretty much agree, prosecutor.
I'll have my assistant
What, my
punch
lord?
him in the face instead.
What? What'd you say?
I said, defendant. I pretty much agree, prosecutor.
Wait, that it's my fault that I'm breaking his chalices that he's breaking?
It's Nicole's fault.
He called you the defendant.
He did call you the defendant.
Yeah, he did, but it's alright.
I'm the defense didn't.
You know, we could pause this trial here because, you know, Driver, we all know it's you. We all know it's you. we have a witness that
Can't
your
prove
accomplice
it.
that just
No,
confessed
can't prove
everything.
it.
You have nothing.
No.
You literally cannot say
No.
anything.
Can't
So,
prove it.
Van Zieks,
No.
we're going to stop
Can't
this
prove
now
it.
and listen.
No. Can't prove it.
This is an intervention. We all just want to help you. We all just want to help you, alright? Sometimes you don't have to shift the blame to other people. It's okay. Sometimes people make mistakes. It's alright. We're not perfect. It's okay. So you could stop the drinking now. It's not your
As he
fault.
picks up the bottle and drinks.
He drinks it like
Cosmo, I know you don't really remember that you're Cosmo. Could you stop him from doing that?
No.
Okay!
No, I don't think that.
Susato, my lord, anyone gonna help him too?
I mean, you kind of said what I was always gonna say, but I don't think
That's the right time. Susato, we won this trial. It's done.
not really done till the not guilty yet.
Fine, we'll keep going. Jeez.
Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion?
That does not matter.
Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
Yes. We have a witness, stupid. No, why am I saying no? No, your accomplice literally has a note with your name that has all the instructions. Just give us the note.
Order!
She's
Seth,
Sith.
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Van Zeeks.
Yes.
I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
what's with that smile?
They're hiding something.
I've heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court. This trial is not the proper forum to which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Drebber. The defendant is Professor Albert Hairbrain.
Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Why would you all care? It's clear. She admitted to being an accomplice to Drebber, and the Drebber did the notes, the math. She found the thing.
As the court has heard, Mr. Seat has admitted.
You said Mr. Sith.
I sure did.
Mr. Seat. Take a seat.
As the
Dr.
court has
Seat.
heard, Dr. Sith has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
At the present time, the conclusion of this court, the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have any objections?
None,
Yes.
my lord.
I'm gonna give you a hug after this, Van Zeeks. Thank you.
Oh, congratulations, Miss Naruhodo! You've proven Professor Harrowbrain's innocence!
Watch, no, something's gonna happen because you said something.
Without further ado, then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense have any other matters to discuss.
No.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right.
I know, it's almost like you didn't solve the actual...
Why did Dr. Sith suddenly admit to it like that?
Is everything alright, Miss Naruhodo?
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty.
But is that really what we want? What the defense should be pushing for now is...
And this is where I started, where the Wright family did not like a surefire victory and decided to like make the case go 10 times longer than it actually is.
Guys, we need to do this 100% crush the people.
What the defense?
Objection! The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord.
Yes.
I beg your pardon.
We demand one final testimony.
Wait a minute.
What? Is he mad?
Yes.
You do realize I'm about to advocate in your favor of your client, I presume?
What are you playing at now, my Nibonese friend? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do that. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm glad.
Answer my own question.
I'm glad you answered your own question as it left your mouth.
Miss Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking?
The truth, the whole truth, and a way to bring it all out into the open.
Right.
Yes, in hindsight.
Ah, yes. One word of warning before I go. If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of a doubt about the truth,
Don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand? Do not falter, whatever may come to pass.
I'm sure Mr. Holmes knew. He must have deduced that this would happen somehow, and he still won't come to the bench to help me out like a real bro. No, but instead he's just in the gallery backing up being like, "Oh, you got this! Ah!
You got this, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, thank you, Dusty. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal.
Obviously.
But that's not all. I believe that I found a duty to the court. Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Did I say that right? I believe that I have a duty to the court. I was right, okay. To pursue the whole truth of the case until every last detail is laid bare. And that is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. Sith.
Testimony from me? About what?
Well, obviously, yes, my client is innocent, so anything Drebba says is worthless at this point. It's really about you. About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebba.
Yes, it's escaped your attention, Mr. Japanese man. I've already admitted to everything I said.
No, you didn't.
The whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting everyone's time.
I mean, look, the gallery can go home for all I care.
As his lordship made very plain, your client will get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
Well, I didn't.
Pray forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped.
That's what you call it by just grabbing it intentionally and mid-slipping out of your hand? No, that's a lie.
What is the objection, Lord Van Zeeks?
The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness.
Let's go!
Don't be stupid, Mr. Van Zeeks.
If there is more to this case that has yet come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the better end.
You what?
Let's go, Lord Van Zeeks!
This is most irregular, to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. Dr. Sith, you will testify for the court. Explain the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Drebba.
Apparently committed.
Very well, your lordship.
What that?
That's what I thought. The waxwork plot.
It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and that note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. And the truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret at the highest level. I had to protect it.
So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specifically designed for the deception.
So it seems, and all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy, I'll give you that one.
No, not with that smile. So kind of you to say.
And what about this autopsy report then?
All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage.
That's all? That's a terrible corruption!
Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
You must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say.
No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Very wrong. Just look at that expression on Dr. Sith's face. He's smug and I don't like it.
It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony.
For a moment.
What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
We need a racist counter. I think we just need that.
That's gonna it's gonna go in the triple digits.
If you want a racist counter, put it next to Van Zeke over there.
Ooh.
Very well. If you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Don't screw it up.
I won't. Hold it! From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea of who was behind it?
There are very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with.
And I really like how Dispels just did, because now it's just these two. Dispels like, you don't need me. Goodbye.
She's not important anymore.
She dipped. But anyway, I had never heard of this engineer, so no, I had no idea.
Never heard of her.
Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it?
I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern.
But the horse is bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all this.
It's not even Scotland Yard's fault.
Yes, thank you, Lord Van Ziegs. I'm well aware of that.
So as I understand it, what you found in the birdcage was the waxwork mutter. Where dead was the victim's body.
When they say Scotland Yard, they mean the police force in full,
Yeah,
including the FIT.
Yeah, so guilt association, all that. Everybody didn't do anything. Do with Scotland.
Hold it! So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick then?
It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork.
And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower. And the waxwork?
I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time.
And why were you given such directions?
Presumably so it could be recovered by Drebber and returned to Madame Tuspel's.
I see. And then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage.
Yes, although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I'd made it perfectly clear to the team, but still.
I suppose. You were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail. Oh, when you say arranged, I presume you mean with this.
Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Harebrain alone could have killed Asmund.
So, you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Harebrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor?
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It was inappropriate, huh?
There was a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then, I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. I decided to do the autopsy early, you see.
And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report. As a
Fictitious.
fictitious cause of death.
She was supposed to say it first.
Exactly.
We got to get the content of me saying something wrong.
Exactly.
We already have 10 hours worth of that.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a compilation video or series.
So the actual cause of death was.
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
Oh my god. My word.
What is it, Mr. Sato?
Something about Dr. Sith's last statement is playing on my mind, that's all.
Yes, mine too. Dr. Sith!
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony.
I just said there's no need to shout.
I need it for your formal testimony!
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over here.
Speak quieter.
Maybe you
Because
should
you
lower your
definitely-
voice.
Testimony!
Oh? Which part?
What I want us to supplement her testimony with is...
Come on!
Wait, was it confirmed he died from screwdriver?
Well, remember, forget
Well,
this
no.
autopsy report because it's fake.
So that's fake.
Because apparently, like, according to her, this is reversed. That he actually died from falling from impact, and that she just added to this screwdriver thing to just add on to it. But
But what if it's like what if she lying about that?
so that ideally Mr. Harebrain would be at fault. Because here's the thing, if that's the case of which it opened up and the fall killed him, then possibly Harebrain gets blamed.
Unless.
What she did, she stabbed him like here with the screwdriver. I don't know. I actually don't know, because let's see. Oh, that photograph of the balloon's gone. Oh no, it's not.
You.
Harebrain. Okay, so this was fired, I guess, at this balloon. To which then the real... No, wait. Because this was a waxwork.
No, you got it backwards. The actual Drebber, not Drebber, Asman was in
here.
there. You saw it in the opening to this case. That in there is Asman himself. Inside the balloon is the professor's waxwork.
Okay, so then he just fell.
Yes, and then it was Sith's job to swap the two, or rather deliver the waxwork back to Drebber, and then Asman's body into the crystal tower. But before she took it to the tower, she stabbed Asman's body with the screwdriver.
No, that's not possible, because then it should have been a blood trail. So yeah. How you stabbed Mr. Asman in the chest. That part.
Good lord, boy, the lungs on you. Were you not shouting into my ear, I would be impressed. However, fine, if that's what you want. But there's really no need to point or shout, mind you.
The prosecution concurs.
Oh.
Thank you,
Very well.
Banseeks.
You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
And then because of like
Testimony.
him, Naruhodo shouting, now like Van Zeeks and the judge just also shout, and she's like, "Why is
I
everyone?"
am not shouting.
Aw.
I'm not
You-
shouting.
If you wish, my lord.
Well, Van Zeeks, shouting is fun.
A man only shouts when he objects.
Objection.
I
I
stood
need to
over
get
the
food.
victim.
Hold on.
I stood over the victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest cavity.
Wait, but if it stayed in, it wouldn't drip. Wait, did I mess up?
Go
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
Because, okay, my two theories is that one, if she did stab it and then move it, there would have been a trail, I think. But if the screwdriver stayed in, then it was a plug. I mean, it's clear the screwdriver's being used because of the blood.
You sure?
There's blood.
If
Wait,
it's
Yes.
cooling.
wait, no.
Nani.
Was this ever? No, it wasn't tested for fingerprints. And just because if it was, it's not.
It wouldn't even be accepted.
Yeah, because it's stupid rules for some reason.
Not rules. It's just that fingerprints haven't been accepted as forensic evidence yet.
Goes down. That's just. Yeah, no. No. Let me think. Because if there's no blood trail, you know what? How about this? We just present the photograph. Oh, cool. Objection.
Objection. Look at this photograph.
I've got a nasty feeling of showing someone a photograph. But this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth.
Picaro!
Go
Anyone go get food?
What on earth is the matter, Consul? Have you lost your tongue?
What goes to Mega?
Oh.
Oh!
I apologize, my lord. My remix has come. Dr. Sith, and that last statement of yours, there's just one point. That seems to defy explanation.
Out with it, my learned friend.
All right, chill. There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection! The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There is nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection! You said that before, and I showed you the signature. So, we have already considered it. That's true. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Please don't make me
I
point it out.
believe we should let the defense explain. Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement?
I was hoping no. I was hoping not.
Why not?
Hoping so badly not.
Counsel, why not? Look at this glass. Look at this
No,
glass.
this photo was taken after Asmon's body was delivered to the Crystal Tower. So that's the broken pieces of the Crystal Tower at the Crystal Tower.
But the floor is made of floor.
Like that? Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downwards direction towards the man's feet.
And why is that significant, Counsel?
If
Mega.
Huh?
Mega.
still you.
This is you.
Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh.
If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah, of course, no, that's not what happened.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Sith made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Harebrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions.
You got it right, but in the wrong direction.
For it to have formed the longitudinal formed the longitudinal. For it to have formed the longitudinal appearance we see in the picture is inconceivable. Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must have been the case that when you stabbed Mr. Asman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Seth, your latest testimony was a total fabrication!
And I am here too.
I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts.
We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
You saw it too, buddy. Dr. Seth. You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. Well, one of those claims is an out-and-out lie, because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that is the case, what is it, man?
Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. I don't follow. Which part of Dr. Sith's story is shown to be a lie by the... by the contradiction in her testimony. Her testimony statement. How she was coerced.
Dr. Sith, clearly you weren't really coerced by some letter at all.
What?
If you were, where's the note? It's nowhere to be seen.
That's as may be.
So why don't you present it to the court? If the assertion vexes you.
Obviously, I've already disposed of it, and I'm not vexed in the slightest defense.
Counsel, did I remind you that it was you yourself who established the coercion?
You might want to reload that save, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove that save.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to kill you for this.
Actually, no. Objection. Time travel.
Objection, Zawarudo.
Objection, Zawardo. Okay, I guess just the stabbing. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards, as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Stains. Stains. You idiots, you gave me a lisp.
You're rubbing off on me.
I'm gonna need another drink.
Oh god, someone stop him. It's his 10th one today.
Van Zeeks, listen, this is why we need to fix your drinking problem. Please.
It's the 10th bottle today. He's been through 9 other bottles.
Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection! That's impossible! The man was dead, remember?
Why
He,
would that be?
he really was drinking. He has like another bottle with him right now. He's like sipping. I was like, that's impossible.
No, that is a misapprehension.
Bazinga.
When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force.
So considerable that he survived.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, my
But Mr. Asman didn't die in the fall.
Hey, I'm alive. Oh, good gracious.
He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came around, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Sith appeared.
Excuse me, miss. Do you know where... Ah!
That's what happened.
If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything.
Excuse me, miss. Do you know where the nearest Denny's is? Oh!
Wait, did I actually call that? Didn't I call that Dr. Sith was gonna kill someone?
To be honest, we kept joking about it as well.
I mean, that's not exactly, you know.
No, but when I
you went
first
to
saw
Dr.
it,
Sith's lab, I joked about killing you immediately.
And I joked that McGilded is a murder. Did I make that joke? I don't know.
I don't know. I just
Maybe
know
I
that
did.
I'm pretty sure I actually said.
You know what?
I looked at Dr. Sith and was like, "You're a murderer."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you killed someone.
Yeah, you have killed someone,
I think, yeah.
You're probably gonna kill someone again.
and you do it again.
For a moment, I thought you were gonna say, did I already joke about McGilded?
Did I already do my McGilded joke? Oh, okay.
Maybe.
That's my McGilded quota for this week.
Come back next week to have a new quote of Mr. McGilded.
Story time with Mr. McGilded.
Mr. Audi Asman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harabre. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Sith!
Just completely cut him off.
What a very silent scream.
My mic doesn't like to pick up screams.
Just lean in. Like, ah!
No, if I do a repeated sound for too long, it cuts me off.
Then wiggle your voice, being like,
Also,
ah.
go into your
tried.
settings. Go into your settings and turn off noise canceling. That should help.
It would. I guess it would. Hang on. Let me do that.
I'm pretty sure that would help, my dear boy.
My dear boy.
Me boy.
Me boy.
Ah.
So let me go here.
Boy.
So would it be? Okay, I got two settings. I got a few settings before me.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, what are they?
I don't see a noise cancellation thing, but I do see acoustic echo cancellation.
What?
I also
Turn
see
it
noise
off.
suppression. I also see noise suppression.
Turn it off.
It might
Turn
be
both of them
suppression.
on.
It might be that, or noise reduction.
Put them both down.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
It might.
All right. Let me put that on and then.
Oh my God, your voice is much clearer now.
You're so much better.
Wait, what?
Am I back?
You
Yes.
are so much
Oh
better.
my God, Dan! Your microphone went from $2 to $20.
$20.
Yeah.
I had those on because they sounded poor. I'm like, oh yeah, well, people come into my room and like to shout a lot. So.
Dan,
Yeah.
listen.
Uh-huh.
I want you, after the stream, to look back at this.
Yeah,
then again,
listen.
I hear myself now.
Uh-oh.
No, I can fix that. Back in the day, well, not prior to this, prior to this, shut up. Prior to this, I also had several options turned up because hey, you said you have trouble hearing me, and it's probably because of the noise suppression. So I would actually have boost turned up a little bit on my microphone.
Ah.
And I noticed that I tried like mitigating that a bit by turning it down some days, and people would stop hearing themselves. Let me turn off my boost now.
Okay.
And I also let me change my Discord setting because I have everything set to freaking max in here.
Maximum.
Like actual maximum power, no less.
Yeah, Dan, you really gotta hear the stream afterwards. You sound so different.
Okay, hopefully you won't hear yourself from now on.
Well,
You
we
sound
barely
like a
hear
new
you
man.
now.
Yeah, you're starting to slowly get quiet. I don't know what happened.
I know what happened. I turned down the output volume. I turn it back up. Grab my back.
You should invest in a headphone.
This is a headphone.
A headphone.
Oh.
Headphone.
This is. It's just really bad ones. They're $50.
Uh,
I'm not getting a lot of bang for my buck here.
Dan, I have
Anyway.
a $20 headset. But yeah, okay, try the yelling.
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not dropping. I'm not dropping what UA said. Headphones.
Anyway.
Yeah!
Order! Could this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him?
Bottom. You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end, before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder.
Oh, do shut up, would you? You're so desperate now. You're making all of this up as if I would do something like that.
Yeah, wow. Dan sounds completely different.
Susan,
Oh, God.
Objection! I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone.
Logic? Don't make me laugh, girl.
Did it cut the half?
you should try push to talk.
Push to talk.
Like,
Push to talk.
put your output back up and do push to talk.
Holy boy, you should try push to talk.
Hello, Becca.
I'm doing alright, how about you?
All right. I'm doing push to talk now.
And boost up that, thing you had as well.
So that put the boost back on.
Yeah.
Put the boost on.
Should I also turn
You
off
got
my?
boost power.
Should I also turn off my noise reduction?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Meg, you're good.
No, you're good. Keep the noise
Hey,
reduced.
how do I sound now?
Oh, yes.
So, anyways, logic, don't make me laugh, girl.
Gale.
Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it.
What? What do you mean?
I had thought it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Asman?
I mean,
You remember how
I
the Mr.
mean-
Drebber motive? That also applies to you.
it does.
Talking about the Mr. Drebber motive, we're talking
No.
about the Sith motive.
No, we're not. Shut your
The
face.
same thing.
Asman was involved in any number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Sith there.
I literally just answered that, but the game's gonna pretend I didn't.
I'm rather relieved to say it does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True. There's no obvious motive, but there's still something in the back of my mind.
Well,
I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this.
Well, they're guilty.
Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story, boy.
Objection!
Bang.
No. When you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Asman, something did come to mind.
What?
What wanted counsel?
Picaro's back, by the way.
Oh.
I'm back.
Sorry. You're back.
You good? Sorry, I had a conversation on aka a phone call, but what is the
Picaro,
council?
My
Light in
mic
the
has been
court.
fixed.
Picaro, listen to Dan. He's got a new voice.
Picaro, I sound better now.
Yo,
Yo.
and without filter.
Yeah. Turns out I had a lot of stuff on that I didn't need on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. We saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time.
There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Sith would have wanted to kill Mr.
I see how
Victim.
Victim.
Mr. Adobe.
Oh yeah,
What I
Picaro,
missed?
you missed a ton of stuff. Dr. Sith's a murderer.
Megan.
I killed the man.
Megan. There's a particular object explains why
Don't make the music all hype. Everybody's like,
the Iron Mask. The Iron Mask. The Iron Mask. No.
It's a scalpel.
Yes.
Or rather, scalpels.
No.
hey, scalpels.
Scalpel.
Ah.
It would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor.
No.
You! Come on, out with it then!
It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory.
Laboratory.
Look at the.
Look at this big, thick book here.
Look at this big, thick book.
It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spendings, I think. Oh?
What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but
My voice is dying.
well, one entry seems rather strange.
Really? In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
Oh yeah. 500 scalpels a month.
Do you know how many people you could cut open with that?
At first, I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realize
Hello.
now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them. Disappearing every month from the department's accounts.
Asman's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward.
Oh, so it actually is a different motive, okay.
Embezzlement.
10 years ago, when Mr. Asman was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Sith's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade.
Secret? Good lord, you mean?
I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago. But clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up.
You. How dare you?
I dare. So in the end, you weren't cursed at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Asman in the heart with all your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. Give me the breakdown.
You'll never understand. None of you. What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
Very long years.
Got him, got him, got him,
Da-da-da.
got him.
Got him. Got him. We got him dead. Got him.
And then Mr.
got
Trevor
him.
just
She's going to jail,
backstabs
to jail,
Sith.
to going to jail, to going to jail.
As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb, the truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Sith will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened.
No.
10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that fate's had over you over all these years. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis? I mean, really.
Ah.
It's the addle-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right.
Oh.
Jeez.
Ooh.
And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. I can't abide their foolishness.
Mr. Trevor.
I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it?
What?
So you admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim?
Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge.
Finally! Revenge for the future that Mr. Asmund's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Asmund, did it?
Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true.
Then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well, or on Dr. Sith to be precise.
It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Asmund turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him, an article on the front page that caught my eye. About the coroner who had handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensic team. When I learned that news, my cognitive processes started to devise the plan.
That's a horrid tale.
He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I had to suffer!
Your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah! Professor Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis. But you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. And honestly, I'll give you a hug for that. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man.
I
You really didn't? Okay.
He did a big speech and wait, he's serious.
Oh, okay.
We got to stop this game monologue. This trial's been going on too long.
Lord Van Zeeks, what of Dr. Sid?
An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Drebber.
Must be a regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, there's a topic for some future occasions. For now, Professor Hairbrain.
Yes?
It seems there was a great deal more to experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial. I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt.
Aboved. Approved.
Make fun of me, please.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. Me, this dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool.
I mean, to be fair, isn't it all scientists?
Professor.
Yes. I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is in the process, I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I.
So,
No, Professor, that's not true.
Megan, I'm sorry, I had to say this real quick.
Why?
You sound like a mixture of Arnold Schwarzenegger and nerdy Daffy Duck. I love it.
I mean, this is the first time I'm voicing this character, so I have no idea what is. Well, I'm still.
Didn't Picaro voice him last time?
I
He
sure
did,
did.
but Mega
Wait,
has
wait.
like no one right now.
I have literally nobody.
Also, the judge is actually taking a lot out of me, so go ahead, Chief.
Do you guys want to switch?
No, I'm saying like it's good that right now I'm trying to put all my power in the judge.
Okay.
Not hard, but fuck's sake.
All of my
Don't
power.
tar yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing, and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way.
Aww. What fancy?
And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even. The man has no idea.
Love fancy.
To believe in yourself and your work, to work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices.
Thank you, Barak.
Who? Am I missing context?
Those two are
That's just-
friends.
Oh, I see. I never. Anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord.
it is this court's expectation. It is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge, of which he stands accused. I presume there are no other objections.
None from me, my lord.
Certainly not.
This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision.
It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
Wesley, he's done, is he? That's all over? I can eat my corn now?
I don't know what's become of the yard these days. I don't recognize the place.
Bless you.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant not guilty.
Yay! Yay!
I tried to roll it. I couldn't do it.
I don't know if it was picked up last stream, but every time I voiced that old man, almost every line I coughed at the end.
Court is adjourned.
Yeah.
I'll be right.
Okay,
So,
Well,
he'll be right back.
was some trial.
Dibs on Sherlock. Dibs on Sherlock. Dibs on Sherlock.
I mean, you guys show like I have everybody else who usually voices.
You can take care, Brain.
24th October,
Sure.
4:33 p.m. The Old Bailey and defendant's antechamber. Ha!
Sherlock, man.
Professor!
Oh.
Are we good? Do we know? Okay.
Yeah, go.
Herbert, are you okay?
Yonosuke.
Alright. Professor! What a splendid outcome, isn't it?
Oh, it is! Congratulations, Professor Harebrained. And he's not happy, of course he's not.
Does he have a bald spot?
Miss, hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Now, hold up. I'm sorry. I can't see through these tears. I am truly.
You want to try reading my name again?
I can't. The tears are too strong. Mr. Sato,
My hair's too strong.
beside myself with gratitude. How can I ever thank you enough?
I'm just glad it's all been cleared up. That you realize you were just caught up in a bad situation.
Right now, you know, if I had that research grant money, if I'd give the whole lot to you, every penny.
Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough.
Oh dear, what can I do? How about this? As a memento, the paper about my hypothesis inside.
Well, just as a memento then. Thank you.
I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now?
I kill more people.
Oh my, yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis in my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I must explore the great exhibition while I'm here, too, and see if new inspiration hits me.
Oh, yes! That's a wonderful idea.
I cannot allow that.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Lord Van Deeks! What are you doing here?
I'm here to kill you.
Eric!
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert.
Well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey.
You're one of the few friends I have.
few.
The few true friends that I have.
He knew what he said.
Hmm?
You're not quite true.
One of the few?
Don't.
I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense.
Oh? Sorry?
Or the defense? Did I just hear that right?
I just knew that you have my best interest in heart. Don't worry. Ha! How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on.
I have a feeling there's more to it.
No.
Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you.
What?
Dover?
From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets.
Oh, I know why.
Because I have to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally because of everybody else.
No! Hold on a minute, Barrick. What about the great expedition? What about the great exhibition?
No! No sightseeing, Albert. Give it up. Give up on the idea.
Bruh.
Sometimes it's hard to see anymore from those eyes, Barrick.
No, you should take that. Albert, you take that. Take the offer.
Albert.
Lord Van Zeeks. I think I already guessed it, but because game plot, what's all this about?
Unnecessary precaution.
Oh wait, no, it's because of the Bailey thing. Reaper of the Bailey.
Yes, I think I understand.
You do?
You do?
Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Van Zeeks at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time, and thinking it was nice of him to ask.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well, even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor.
Ah, you mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those in the Reaper's sights meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up till now.
But of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent.
True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend.
Aww.
Eric!
Barrick!
Barrick!
Barrick! Get this huge emotional scene. I don't want to take any chance with a close personal friend. Barrick!
Like the mustached Japanese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once.
Right.
Does your friend-shaped package get any say in it?
Friend-shaped package?
Hello?
Goodness! Was this your intention all along then, Lord Van Zeeks?
In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless.
Yes.
And yet, sometimes, I feel as though I don't understand him at all.
What do you... Naruhodo! Ryunosuke! He has a heart. He's human. It's just he has to have a stone face in court in his job.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being.
What?
Yes, alright. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything.
By the way, real quick, go into your court record, if you can.
I can't.
Ah, dang.
Why?
I was gonna look up what Hairbrain's age was.
Isn't he like 30 something? Or 20, like late 20s?
Let me see.
Well, like, if Vanzix was the same age, if they went to school together...
He is 33, okay.
Yeah, so same age. About. Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain.
Once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now.
Now, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, hello. Yes?
I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
Of course, yes. What? Yeah. You want to talk with me? Hello? What?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
In the courtroom?
Oh.
I'm suing you.
But I'm suing you for all the chances I've thrown.
I'm suing you for doing a good job.
Well, that was
For being
strange.
my friend.
For some reason, I didn't get that sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. It's like he actually cares about my well-being. The enigma, Baroque Van Zieks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes then.
Goes into a chariot.
The life of Barack
Burns
Van
it.
Obama.
Barack Obama?
Barack Van Obama, is that what I said?
24th October,
4:58
4:58 p.m. The Old Bailey
PM.
courtroom.
The Old
How
Bailey.
long have we been in this courtroom?
Oh, wow.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Court supposedly begins at, what was it, 9:30?
So, are you satisfied? You saved a guileless scientist from a great injustice.
Yes, I think so.
We have to talk in separate desks.
I'm relieved, at least, that the man's innocence could be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity toward you Nipponese comes from.
That's
we have this-
racist.
Okay, stop being stupid for once. I'm actually getting answers. Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. I imagined you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here.
I still do, but yes.
Now, I think differently.
No, you were right.
You clearly know our ways. So I would guess that some specific incident led to your thorough dislike of my race. The professor is Japanese, isn't he?
Germany.
Will you tell me what happened, please?
The professor.
Yo, I was right. Let's go.
Was my friend.
I thought I'd never hear that name in its courtroom again, to be honest.
He took your brother's life.
Clint. My brother was Clint Van Zieks. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens,
Aw.
he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan.
Oh! If it was 16 years ago, then one of them could have been my father.
Of course, I remember Dr. Mikotoba well.
I had no idea.
I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese.
So, actually met my father.
He was the professor. Yes.
He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nippony spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even, just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved.
I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. Truly.
Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway.
And look, I could give you a hug if you want, man.
No.
So he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
Oh my.
In plain sight?
Behind you.
Are you aware of political events 10 years ago?
No.
It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial.
Because it was a Japanese, yep.
If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up at war.
What? A war? Between Britain and Japan?
Japan and Japan.
That would mean... Oh my! You mean to say the professor was...
He was indeed Japanese.
His name.
Oh, animation of him sliding.
Its conclusion
Oh.
earlier, I thought to myself, yes,
Oh.
it's time. Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster.
It's gonna look exactly like Naruhodo.
I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum.
AKA stole it.
So see
I stole it.
confirm it with your own eyes. The truth has
Confirm
been
it.
hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before.
Who even is he? What?
Who is it?
He's Japanese.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Alright, well.
Wait a minute. That face. I feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
Wait, is that Cosmo's father?
What?
That's not his name. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hello, Cosmo.
My name is Steve Oh my god.
Yeah.
He's so intimidating.
It's the people's.
No. Guys, it's a
Look at
catchy.
Steve's-
No.
Takeshi!
Oh my god. It's a persona.
Come, Persona! Wait, please, in Cosmo's voice.
He's so scary.
Persona!
Thank you!
Sorry, I should backlight a little bit. Persona!
Thank you.
Persona.
Persona!
Father?
Why does he look so intimidating with that mask?
I am thou, Thou art I.
Oh my god.
Kazuma! My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole
He
year,
was dead.
finally his memories returned.
And he got a persona out of the deal.
Yeah.
My friend.
Wait, like father, like son, they both came back from the dead somehow.
Oh my god. I hate it here.
Jesus Christ.
My father and son both came back from getting milk.
Wait, who are you?
Ryunosuke.
Oh,
Kazuma-sama.
Hello again,
I'm keeping the sword.
my friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
Katoba.
It's been
He's-
a very long road. Thank you.
Aw.
Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
man, give this man a hug. He thought he was dead.
I knew you wouldn't die that
I
easy.
know, like, listen, I don't know
I
about
knew
you,
you
this
would
is
die
fake.
that
You, I
easily,
would
even though I believed it entirely.
totally. Kazuma, I knew you didn't die by such a stupid way of some woman pushing you. So stupid.
Susanna, what is that supposed to
I owe
mean?
you thanks too for taking good care of that in my absence. Oh,
Sword.
My diamond
Karma.
sword.
great blade of the Asogi clan, passed down through the generations.
Uh-huh.
When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. The Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened,
I died.
it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
Even though you're still alive.
No, bro. Keep it.
No.
Stab.
I've made it. At last.
Hey, that's his father, though. I don't know.
Father.
That's why.
What is...
That's why what?
I think that's why he really wanted to come to Britain. He knew about it.
His father being a mass murderer?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
It's a twist. This is a twist. This is a twist, and I love
Are you
it.
saying, surely not? You mean, you knew all this time?
I
I'm
mean-
looking at it. But I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
And now I will continue what you started.
Wait, Van Zeeks, you want to stop him?
Wait, no, that's art. That's art.
Yeah, wait,
No,
stop. Stop him.
That's art. That's valuable. That's valuable.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
clean,
not-
I'll pay for it.
clean slice.
Oh,
That's
you're
not
the
just
best. You're the
wax,
best,
That's like
Van
metal
Zeeks.
too.
I like how Van Zeeks just exists being like, yeah, I'm just here.
I'm just gonna eat popcorn.
We have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
And until then, welcome to London.
Oh, Oh my god.
All Kazuma said
That's all he said.
before he turned and left us there in the courtroom.
With a slash Cosima's dad. Oh, okay.
What kind of cut is that?
Well,
he just came.
so
He
anyways.
he came in, cut this man's father in half, walked out. Okay, so anyway, that's what we were saying though.
So anyways, nice weather we're having, huh,
Yeah,
Rianovsky?
So anyways, you wanna continue our conversation back in our exact positions that we were in before?
So, he's the living after image of the man who took my brother's life, is he?
Yes.
Vanzeeks, please
I
don't
killed
be
him.
mad at him. It's
I
not
should've
his
killed him.
fault.
I
No,
should've.
no, Vanzeeks, listen, please. It's not his fault, and I'm pretty sure he came here to give him justice as well. I mean, come on, like, who would look up to a father and be like, oh yes, I approve of that guy being a murderer? Like, come on. Please.
I know a few.
No, please, Vanzeeks. Come on, please. Please, I beg of you.
Fine.
Thank you. Yes, Cosmo Asogi, my best friend. I'm just so happy he's alive, oh my gosh.
3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there. Some connection.
But why did Lord Strongheart do that, actually?
For the lows.
Why did he make Cosima Lord Van Zeek's apprentice? And when he was suffering amnesia, too?
The man was apprehended, even executed. Supposedly. But his legacy just won't die. That's a sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting me with me as I asked.
Honestly, I thank you more. Thank you. By the way, if you still need that hug, I'm here for you.
I'm already gone by.
I love how he didn't bother to even comment on the fact that he just came in and sliced his father in half anyway.
10 years ago.
I'm sorry, I keep thinking of that cut for like that animation, and then
Yeah, I know. That's why it gave me whiplash. Like I'm still recovering from it.
Like, and that was such an emotional scene too. I couldn't even make like a lot of bits with it. I'm proud of you, man. Like, I couldn't make any bits because it was so emotional with it. Oh man.
My grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me.
Toward the repair of that waxwork. The clothes will hide it.
Thank you, Van Zeeks. Hopefully that will cover the waxwork. Let's wait.
It was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though.
It took time to adjust to having father around. But just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London, and that the friend had left behind a son, a boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Asogi.
No.
So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time.
Especially when he said, "Welcome to London."
As if great
Welcome
wheels
to
had
London,
set in
Steph.
motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter, but in many, it was the start of a new one.
So that thing I brought up in the pre-stream, I was planning on replacing Van Zeek's and Nasogi's voices with mine.
Ooh.
But the problem, in the end, was that even with the right bit rates, my voices were slow as heck.
Oh.
Oh, she wasn't fast enough.
What do you mean your voices were slow?
I can screen share it after we end the stream here, if you want.
What, like the files were too slow?
No. I'll just show you.
Yeah,
But anyway,
it would have been a simple fix, maybe.
You know, I'll be honest, because like I knew at a certain point, obviously at the Ferris wheel. Well, even before that was Cosma. Even like I think before that apprentice was shown, because like the game had way too much emphasis to talk about Cosma.
Hope this covers the Borkin
It could
chalice
also
glass.
be.
Thank you, janitor, for the coverage of the Borkin chalice glass. I appreciate it. It'll help. But anyway, so yeah, I knew that he was alive, but at that point when I made that connection,
I feel like with this sequel, they were just like, oh, we got a bunch of feedback from fans. They hated how he died.
You know,
bring him back.
I would definitely be one of them because that is a terrible way to. It's worse than Mia because at least Mia, you know, she died trying to protect something, and Cosmo was like, no, I'm just gonna die by getting pushed.
I'm just gonna trip and die.
I'm just gonna get pushed and then die.
You're probably just having fun, but I'll just say that this was planned from the start.
The second game?
Yes.
Oh.
Really?
Wait, so him like falling down like that and then get amnesia, that was all like planned.
I guess that makes sense. That actually does make sense because the first game, it does show like Cosma was coming to Great Britain for something. But by the end of the first game, we would have no idea what that was. And in the second game, I think I get it. I think I get it, what he came for. So...
It was McGilded.
It was McGilded.
You know, maybe I'll just edit the professors had to be McGilded.
Cosmo walks up to McGilded's body, and then like right as about to slash, because he gets me boy, and then get cut off.
I'm doing it. I'm doing that. I'm gonna do that. Oh man, that's just funny. But anyway, so to continue on, so obviously when like I thought what was gonna happen that actually Cosmo would I guess be revealed in case 5, like the last case, and then making Naruhodo give the sword to Cosmo would make him remember because that like the soul of someone would be with them, and like when he gives it to him, then his memories would return. But I didn't think like the professor would be like his father or anything.
Why
father? He just saw his father and went, "Father!"
Yeah, literally.
Memories came back.
Just this whole scene was just so good, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And I don't know, but still that whiplash, what even?
I hate that it ruined it, but also look, he made it better. Funny.
Like it made it worse in the context of the scene, but it's funny as a bit in itself.
It's so unprofessional that I didn't think you wouldn't think. I felt like they would be even in this game, but alas, that took out like everything else and just like copy and pasted the spacings to sit in there.
Oh, so yeah. I had one more thing and I forgot. Oh well. Anyways,
was important.
So that's one of 2 characters that are going to come back. The other, obviously, McGilded.
Is the Ultra Instinct McGilded?
Yes.
Oh man, but yeah, that's English, by the way. Thank you.
Can't we start this over, my boy?
Me boy.
Me
A-
boy.
any-
Have a
any-
guinea, me boy.
Guinea.
So any thoughts that you guys have, like whether it be about the scene or just anything in general?
I think it was a beautiful scene. I would say this though, actually, bro. Why is Cosma and Vancy so buff? Like,
They've been working out.
I mean, I know no person who noticed that. Like, I guess I never like looked so closely, but the first time seeing Van Zeke just move like that, like
Van Zeke is kind of ripped.
Both
Yeah.
of them are built. Like, jeez, man.
Well, obviously, like they train every day. Like one of the regiments of being a prosecutor, you gotta train to deal with like the assassins that are gonna come at you.
Yeah.
I see. I need that type of training.
Ready for that, dude.
Yeah, they're both trained in martial arts, or at least Van Zeke's in general swordplay.
Yeah, Van Zeke could kick your ass.
Yeah, he'll be the everlasting poop out of me.
Listen,
Like, no different.
why do you think that I made Ryunosuke be afraid of Van Zeke's, but at the same time would kind of over time does these bits? Because he knows, I think at the point it's like he's not gonna do anything. If he wanted to do something, he would have already done it. So
He already took your head off.
he would have already done it. But he didn't.
Nadahodo looked over at him and was like, yeah, this guy could pick me up and break me in 2 pieces over his knee. If he wanted to kill me, he would have.
I mean, I'm sure the broken chassis behind him do not show off how strong he could be. Like,
Listen, this man here, he could easily just shatter everything I own, kill everything that I love, and put me through the most excruciating pain possible. But I know he won't because we're not besties.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
No, what I do. No, I'm inspired. No,
Are
I do.
you actually sure about that?
So, do we still have the vibe from the last game?
What?
Do we still have the vibe from the last game? Or all the vibes from
Yeah,
Yes.
everything's there.
What I'm going to do, as soon as we beat Ace 22, which is sound like it's gonna be really soon, I'm gonna sit down and grab every scene from this game, those remotely racist, and put it in the compilation.
Picaro, believe me, you're
speaking
gonna be there for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of VODs from the previous game, did you see the clip I sent?
No, actually.
The one about the I did see it. I gotta get the title. Hold up.
What is it, Drebber photo?
No, is the That's simple. I don't.
That's simple. I don't.
Okay, go ahead and watch that. It's only a minute long because it's the clip.
Yeah, 9. There's an important thing. There's an important thing to note.
Well, I
about
have
a
to
certain
go now.
keyword.
I have to get up pretty early tomorrow.
All right, Dan. Have a good one.
Dan,
All right,
thank
Dan.
you.
Nice
Have a
seeing you,
good
man.
night.
Bye, guys. Thanks for helping me get my
Bye.
mic sorted out, by the way.
No problem. You should definitely look
Yay.
back at the VOD. You got to hear how different you sound.
Okay. Do I sound like good?
Yeah, you sound
Yes.
good actually.
I sound like a human being.
You sound like a regular human being now. Wait a minute.
You sound like you're no longer talking through a toaster.
You sound like you're no longer on Xbox Live, but you're now making COD videos on your YouTube channel in 2008.
What if I, actually got a toaster and spoke through it though?
That would be cool.
It's simple. You don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
Don't. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Dan.
Good night.
And with that, if no one else has anything to add, I shall end this stream here.
Yeah, the next 2 cases are basically the finale. So I can't wait.
2 cases.
Yeah, episode 4 and 5.
Oh, I honestly thought we were on 4.
No.
I mean, that ending. I'm sorry. I really thought we were on 4. But okay.
Well, I did say the end of the last case. That's cases 3, 4, and 5 are basically the end game. So episode 4 and 5 are really, really, really the end game.
Which one does McGilded show up in? He's the last one, right? He's the final boss of this game.
Both of them.
Oh, yes.
Oh boy.
I can't believe it.
Oh man. So I guess the question is how bad the PTSD would happen with Ryunosuke. Oh boy.
McGilded is the semi-final boss and the final boss. I love it.
Semi-final boss.
Yeah.
So
He's got 2 phases.
So as for the audience in chat, thank you so much for stopping by. And I know there's probably not barely anybody live in chat, but I guess for future people who watch the VOD, thank you for watching it all. If you have, I appreciate it. We all do. So you should all subscribe and follow the people on the bottom left. You have to do that. That is the law. Thank you. Yes, you must do that. And the next stream, tomorrow, 3 p.m. EST with Genshin, because I am behind on stuff and I gotta speedrun it. So let's go. Gotta love speedruns. Speedrun a gacha game. So yeah,
speedrun.
Until next video or stream, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye!
See you later, boy!
You literally can't do that.